Chapter 749. Lin Rei's eyes were filled with gratification. After all, he was the only venerable grade alchemist in the sect. Everyone else was still growing and couldn't be of much use. But now, they had Chu Ci, an ancestor grade alchemist. Although he was still a primary grade alchemist, his name alone was enough to match 10 emperor grade alchemists. Hee, not bad. He smiled appreciatively and walked over to Chu Ci's side, squatting down. Seeing his weak appearance, Lin Rei sighed inwardly. He's still a little too eager. It seems I'll have to find an opportunity to refine some pills that can increase his spiritual power. Lin Rei took out a recovery pill from his ring and stuffed it into Chu Ci's mouth. He then circulated his spiritual energy and placed his palm on Chu Ci's chest, slowly helping him refine the tyrannical medicinal energy of the pill. Even though he was a middle-stage god emperor, and was indeed a giant in the eyes of others, he was nothing in front of the pills concocted by Lin Li. Whether it was in terms of alchemy or cultivation, he couldn't compare to Lin Rei. At this moment, Yun Kai, who had been cultivating to the side, had already woken up. She was guarding Chu Ci, not leaving his side for even an inch. Looking at Yun Kai, Lin Rei nodded. All right, he's fine now. He'll be fine after eating the pill. Lin Rei withdrew his hand from Chu Ci's chest and stood up. He didn't want to disturb the two and directly walked out. However, when Lin Rei reached the door, he seemed to have thought of something. He stopped and said, "Oh right, when you're done resting, quickly come to the dining room in front. Xie Feng and I will wait for you." With a bang, the door closed and Lin Rei's figure disappeared from the room. At this moment, Yun Kai, who was in the room, carried Chu Ci and placed him on the bed. She then waited for him to wake up. She was also an alchemist, so she knew what it felt like to overexert one's spiritual power. After coming out of the room, Lin Rei walked on the path to eat. The two sides of the path were no longer as damaged by him as before. At this moment, the two sides of the path were filled with colorful jokes. It was very beautiful and moving. On the road, the fragrance of flowers floated in the air. When one smelled it, it gave one a feeling of lingering and forgetting to go back. In addition to the house that he created with his magic, the scene at this moment could be described as a paradise on earth. However, even in this paradise on earth, Lin Rei was helpless. It was not because of anything else, but because when he came out of the room, the little tail behind him followed him again. The person Little Tail was referring to was none other than Hua Yuan. Not for anything else, but for the 9 revolution mixed yuan pellet. Lin Rei felt very helpless about this. He had also tried to persuade her to leave. After all, although he had met her once, there was no interaction between them. Friends? No, not really. Brother. That's not right either. Gender, lover. That's even more wrong. Lin Rei did not love her. The only thing that could make Lin Rei think of was a stranger. Moreover, it was a very annoying stranger. Sensing Hua Yuan behind him, Lin Rei turned around and rolled his eyes at her. His face was full of helplessness. I say, can you not follow me? Look at you. You're a good girl. Why are you following a married man like me? What's going on? Moreover, I've already told you before. I've already given all the 9 revolution mixed yuan pellets to Xie Feng. I really don't have any more now. If you want, you can go and find Xie Feng. Of course, it depends on whether you can beat her or not. Moreover, we're leaving here today and going to the ancient quartz vault. There are many strong cultivators in there, and there are also quite a number of hierarch realm cultivators. Tell me, I don't mind. Hua Yuan interrupted. At this moment, Lin Rei was stunned. Ancient quartz vault? I'm very interested. I heard that it's a place of no return. Who knows, we might be able to find some special divine medicine or even sacred medicine. Don't you think so? As soon as she said that, Lin Rei was instantly defeated. He finally understood the true meaning of the idiom pestering. Hua Yuan, on the other hand, was a person who was made for pestering others. At this moment, Lin Rei no longer asked her to leave. Since she wanted to go to the ancient corpse vault, then let her go. Anyway, once they were inside, it would be fine if she didn't affect him. If she did, he could even kill and bury the corpse. Alright, since you're willing to follow me, then follow me. After saying that, Lin Rei no longer cared about Hua Yuan. Immediately, he turned around and quickened his pace. At this moment, in Xia Feng's room, Xia Feng was sitting on the bed. The corners of her mouth curled up slightly, revealing a charming smile. I'm finally out. After saying that, Xia Feng hurriedly stood up and tidied up her messy clothes. Then, she opened the door and walked out. After that, she walked towards Lin Rei's location. Waiter, bring all the specialties here. Also, bring a few jugs of wine. At this moment, Lin Rei, who had just entered the restaurant, looked at the waiter and ordered. Okay, please wait a moment. After hearing Lin Rei's name, the waiter became excited and hurriedly walked to the back. At this moment, Lin Rei, who had finished ordering, came to an empty table by the window and sat down. He ignored Hua Yuan and sat down. Then, he turned his head towards the window and instantly released his sense of hearing. He began to inquire about the interesting things that happened during this period of time when he was in closed-door cultivation. Dao friend, have you heard? The 7 sects have all moved out. The leaders are all late god emperors. Furthermore, there are rumors that for the opening of the ancient corpse vault, some old undying people have all come out of closed-door cultivation. Their purpose is to obtain the corpse core from the corpse king of the ancient corpse vault. Oh. Is there such a thing? At this moment, this conversation entered Lin Rei's ears. Immediately, Lin Rei's interest was piqued. He listened to their discussion with great interest. Speaking of which, I don't know where the rumor came from. It says that the corpse core can increase one's lifespan, improve one's cultivation, and various other benefits. Look, those old undying people can no longer improve after cultivating to the Tao's sovereign realm. You have to know that it has been hundreds of thousands of years in the divine world to reach the saint realm. And those old undying people's lifespan is about to reach its end. Some of them are already dead, but they insist on using divine medicine to prolong their lives. How can they give up on such a good thing when they hear that it can increase their lifespan? Damn, this, interesting. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was in the restaurant, laughed. His face was full of interest. Why didn't I know that the corpse core can increase one's lifespan? At this moment, Lin Rei was both interested and puzzled. He couldn't understand how the corpse core could be related to lifespan. Nonsense. Isn't this nonsense? Just as Lin Rei was curious and puzzled, the system's angry voice exploded directly in Lin Rei's ears. Oh. What is the function of the corpse core? He knew that the system must know something about it. The corpse core can be a kind of pill called the heavenly corpse core. This kind of pill can control all the people who have swallowed it. Of course, this kind of pill, with your current Dan realm, Hearing the system's words, Lin Rei was speechless. However, out of curiosity, he directly deleted the unpleasant words and began to ask what he was interested in. Besides refining the heavenly corpse core, is there any other use? For example, increasing one's cultivation, or... Don't guess blindly. Before Lin Rei finished speaking, the system directly cut him off. The corpse core has only one use, and that is to refine the heavenly corpse core. It has no other use. Oh, no, it has another use. Oh. What is it? Lin Rei asked excitedly. It is the corpse core. In addition to refining the heavenly corpse core, it can also be used as a poison, and its medicinal effect is very strong. Even you can't cure it. At this moment, Lin Rei did not pay attention to the system's words. At the same time, after listening to the system's words, he knew that the conversation between the two people just now was pure nonsense. There was no such thing at all. However, if there was no such thing, then where did these rumors come from? Was all this too coincidental? The coincidence made Lin Ray feel that someone had arranged this in advance. Interesting, really interesting. Lin Ray muttered. Well? What's interesting? Just as Lin Ray was muttering, Xia Feng's voice suddenly came. After hearing Lin Ray's voice, he quickly came back to his senses. At this moment, Xia Feng had already sat down beside him. Looking at her, Lin Ray told her what he had just learned. A few minutes later, Xia Feng frowned, and her face was full of coldness. Who is doing this? Even I don't know what the corpse core is used for. How could someone spread such a rumor? I don't know, but don't you think that this matter is getting more and more interesting? He said with interest in his voice. Hearing this, Xia Feng was stunned for a moment, then smiled. That's right, such a coincidence can attract so many people's attention. It seems that after this time, there will be a big reshuffle of the situation here. Yes. Lin Ray, who understood Xia Feng's meaning, nodded in agreement. Then, the two of them returned to silence. At this moment, Hua Yuyin, who was sitting opposite them, was stunned. Looking at the two of them talking to each other, she was speechless. However, due to Xia Feng's strength, Hua Yuyin didn't act rashly. Instead, she sat aside quietly and waited for the dishes to arrive. I'm sorry, everyone. There are too many people in the shop today, and we have neglected you. This is the mysterious rain wine that our shopkeeper has specially prepared for you as an apology. Please try it first. The dishes will be sent to you in a moment. What do you think? Just when the situation was extremely awkward, the waiter's voice was heard. At the same time, a fragrant smell drifted over. Sure. At this moment, Lin Ray only heard the waiter say that the wine was to be sent. He didn't hear the rest, because at this moment, Lin Ray's eyes were locked on the mysterious rain wine in the waiter's hands. Chapter 750. His eyes were full of passion, his throat was moving, and his face was full of desire. Looking at this scene, Xia Feng covered her face and turned her body to the side as if she didn't know him. Not only Xia Feng, but even Hua Yuyin had the same reaction as Xia Feng. Both of them didn't expect Lin Ray to behave like this. However, Xia Feng was slightly better. After all, she knew that Lin Ray was a complete drunkard. As long as he found the wine in a shop to be especially delicious, he would disregard his own safety and plunder everything. At this moment, Xia Feng silently mourned for the shop owner in her heart. Sigh. I hope this guy won't plunder all the wine in this shop like he did in the past. However, although she acted as if she didn't know Lin Ray, her nose was attracted by the mysterious rain wine. After all, she loved wine very much. Especially after smelling the wine's aroma, she wanted to taste it even more. Okay, please wait a moment. I'll give you breast milk now. At this moment, after hearing Lin Ray's words, the waiter placed the wine on the table and turned around to leave. Hee, there's wine to drink. Seeing that the waiter had left, Lin Ray fixed his eyes on the wine again. Then, he reached out and grabbed the wine, tilting his head back and drinking. Gulp, gulp, this was the so-called gulp. Hearing the sound of Lin Ray drinking, Xia Feng turned around and watched as Lin Ray finished the wine bit by bit. For a moment, she couldn't help but say. Don't drink anymore. Leave some for me. When Hua Yuyin heard Xia Feng's words, she rolled her eyes to express everything. Here. Hearing Xia Feng's words, Lin Ray directly handed the wine bottle to Xia Feng and shared it with her. After all, they were friends who went through thick and thin together. He could still afford to give her something like this. Okay. Looking at the bottle of wine, Xia Feng didn't refuse. She took the wine and started drinking. The way she drank was similar to how Lin Ray drank before. A bottle of wine was quickly finished by the two of them. At this time, the dishes were served. Looking at the dazzling array of dishes, Lin Ray said, "Hurry up and eat. After we finish eating, will prepare to head to the ancient corpse trove. After saying that, he no longer paid any attention to the crowd. Instead, he lowered his head and picked up a dish to eat. At this moment, his appearance shocked Xie Feng and Lin Lei. It was not because of anything else, but because Lin Rei's head was almost stuck to the plate. In the process of being stunned, Lin Rei had already finished one plate at an extremely fast speed. Then, he grabbed another plate and began to eat. Just like that, plate after plate of food was served. When the evil phoenix saw that the dishes were about to run out, he rolled up his sleeves and began to eat. Regarding the actions of Lin Rei and Xie Feng, Hua Yuan was very surprised. She couldn't imagine that such a strong person would have such a strange scene. And just as they were eating, Chu Xi and Xie Feng, who had fainted because of the alchemy, came to the table and then joined in the vortex. This scene, the actions of the four people, not only caused Hua Yuan to be shocked, but also attracted the attention of the surrounding people. Everyone's expression was the same as Hua Yuan's. During the meal, Lin Rei's mind went into the system and found the place where the Pai Xiu was, which he had never visited before. Ever since he took a drop of the Pai Xiu's blood essence, he had never visited it again. At this moment, he came to the system space where the Pai Xiu was. Looking at it, he saw a monster's body that was hundreds of feet tall appear in his darkness. Damn, it can't be. I just didn't come in for a while and it grew to such a level. Looking at the huge body, Lin Rei was shocked. Lin Li wasn't just shocked by the Pai Xiu's body, he was even more shocked by the Pai Xiu's cultivation. At this moment, the Pai Xiu's cultivation had already recovered to the middle stage of the hierarch realm. Its entire body was emitting a terrifying aura and pressure. Even Lin Li, who had just seen it, was stunned. Suddenly, the originally sleeping Pai Xiu, after sensing Lin Li's aura, slowly woke up, and a beast roar that shook the heavens spread throughout the entire space. Lin Rei, who had been listening to the beast's roar the whole time, suddenly rolled his eyes. It was enough to express everything he wanted to say. "You little brat, do you know that it's very inhumane for you to put me here?" Suddenly, the Pai Xiu opened its mouth. However, the words it said were very tiring with its current identity and the pressure it exerted before. It was like the soul of a loafer and the body of a superior. This difference made Lin Rei stunned. What's wrong? Can't speak? Seeing Lin Rei's silence, the Pai Xiu continued to pursue. This. At this moment, Lin Rei was really in the wrong. When he saved Pai Xiu before, he said that he would only let Pai Xiu follow him for a few hundred years. But now, Pai Xiu had been locked up here for almost a few thousand years. Looking at the Pai Xiu, Lin Rei opened his mouth to negotiate. "Brother Pai Xiu, you see, I had something to do before, so I won't come. But I saw something too. No, I don't want to do it." Pai Xiu had basically figured out Lin Rei's nature after so many years. In the Pai Xiu's heart, Lin Rei was a shameless person, but he was a righteous person who kept his oath. However, for Lin Rei's shamelessness and his oath, the Pai Xiu had already experienced it. When he saw Lin Rei just now, the Pai Xiu's right eyelid began to twitch wildly. As the saying goes, one doesn't visit a temple without a cause. Now that Lin Rei came, he must have something to say. Sure enough, just when the Pai Xiu was thinking, Lin Rei opened his mouth and said exactly the same as him. Then, he immediately said the three-nose policy that he had thought of before. So sure. Looking at the Pai Xiu's straightforward refusal, for a moment, Lin Rei asked awkwardly. "Yes, I'm so sure, you." Seeing that the Pai Xiu was so stubborn, Lin Rei was silent. "The last time you came, you asked me to give you a drop of blood essence. You said that the thing that you can say must not be a small matter, so it's normal that I don't agree." Facing Lin Rei's silence, the Pai Xiu panicked. Although he said the three-nose policy, he was a bit uncertain about Lin Rei. After all, Lin Rei was the kind of person who farts silently, and every time, it was a big fart. Listening to the words of the Pai Xiu, Lin Rei thought about it and then took out a 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan. Since this pill was useful for Xie Feng, it would be even more useful for the Pai Xiu. Sure enough, as soon as the pill was taken out, the medicinal fragrance drifted in the air. The Pai Xiu's body suddenly stood up and whispered with a shocked face, 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan? This is 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan, yes, it must be. As he said, his eyes locked on the small pill in Lin Rei's hand. It really is. At this moment, the Pai Xiu smiled with surprise. The 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan could be said to be of great use to him. How could he not like it? Give it to me, whatever you want, I will agree to it as long as you supply me with the 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan. Thinking of the previous Pai Xiu's unyielding appearance, for a moment, after thinking about it, Lin Rei had the urge to laugh out loud. However, seeing that the Pai Xiu finally agreed, Lin Rei quickly said, well, as long as you agree, I will give you the 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan. Whoosh, as soon as his voice fell, a white wave of air instantly came out of the Pai Xiu's mouth, and then instantly came in front of Lin Rei, rolled up the 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan in Lin Rei's hand, and finally accurately fell into the mouth of the Pai Xiu. Phew. Awesome. At this moment, the Pai Xiu was very satisfied, but he was very curious about how Lin Rei refined such a high-grade pill. How did you refine the 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan? As far as I know, only that old fart Hong Jun has this kind of pill. You, Hong Jun? Old fart? Hearing the question of the Pai Xiu, Lin Rei was stunned. He knew about Hong Jun. Now, the enemy said that he was old fart. However, Lin Rei did not stay on this question for long, and immediately explained, I got this by accident, you don't have to care about the rest, you just need to know that I can give you what you want, that's enough. Hearing this, the Pai Xiu nodded his head. That's true. Tell me, what do you want me to do? It's very simple, drag us to the ancient corpse depository, then the deal between us will be over, what do you think? Lin Rei said his plan. At this moment, after hearing Lin Rei's words, the Pai Xiu hesitated, he did not expect Lin Rei to ask such a question. As a member of the untainted tribe, born by heaven and earth, he had a noble status, but now he was being ridden by a small emperor god cultivator, this made him lose face. However, when he thought of the 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan, the so-called face disappeared. Thinking of this, the Pai Xiu agreed. Okay, it's settled. Good. In that case, I'll let you out in a while, and then take us to the ancient corpse depository at the fastest speed. The Pai Xiu agreed, and Lin Rei was very happy. Immediately, his divine sense exited the system. At this moment, in the outside world, the meal was over. Looking at everyone's enjoyment, Lin Rei said, okay, since everyone is full, let's go. In response to Lin Rei's words, everyone nodded in agreement. Looking at everyone, Lin Rei nodded with a smile, and then asked Chu Ci to pay. The moment Lin Rei and the others walked out of the restaurant, they flew up into the sky. Come out. The next moment, a huge monster appeared in the sky. Immediately, the area under the huge monster was covered by its shadow, and it became dark. Hiss. That is? Oh my god, what is that thing? The moment everyone saw the Pai Xiu, they began to talk about it. Even Xie Feng, Chu Ci, Yun Kai, and the rogue Hua Yuan, who were beside Lin Rei, could not help but be shocked when they saw the Pai Xiu. Pai Xiu. At this time, Xie Feng, who had recovered, revealed the identity of the Pai Xiu. Lin Rei was not surprised by this, after all, they were the first creatures in the untainted land. Okay, let's not talk about it, let's leave quickly. Instead of answering Xie Feng's question directly, he took Xie Feng and the other two and disappeared instantly. When they reappeared, they were already on the back of the Pai Xiu. As for Hua Yuan, she was still in the same place, looking dazed, and did not come to her senses. Okay, let's go. At this time, the Pai Xiu, who had been waiting for a long time, heard Lin Rei's words and instantly disappeared into the sky. Chapter 751. You guys. At this moment, when Linley and the rest had disappeared, Hua Yuan regained her senses. She could no longer see Linley and the rest of them. In the end, in order to catch up to Lin Rei, Hua Yuan used all her strength, stepping on lotuses and pushing her movement technique to the extreme. High Sky City was the only large city next to the ancient corpse burial ground. Originally, this place was empty, and no one came here. After all, there were no cultivation resources, and no sects, except for the original residents. However, every few thousand years, there would always be a period of time when this ghost town would be very lively. It would be a boiling cauldron of voices, and flowers would bloom like a brocade. Today, the city was bustling with people and carriages. During this period of time, various forces had gathered from all directions. Regardless of whether they were third-grade sects or first-grade sects, they all had to rush in. Immediately, all the restaurants and inns in Lincoln City were filled with people. The Rain Sect, the Sword Sect, the Tool Sect, the Array Sect, and even the Pill Sect, which was ranked at the bottom of the 7 sects, brought their people into Sky City. At this time, in Sky City, in the largest restaurant, Storm House, a very funny and interesting thing happened. At this time, a disciple wearing the Rain Sect's uniform walked into the restaurant. Seeing that it was full of people, he was stunned and said to the waiter, "Hey, hurry up and find us a seat. Let us eat, hurry up." At this moment, the Water Sect's disciple's strong aura made the waiter's legs tremble. He turned around to see if there was an empty seat. Sure enough, the result was in front of him. Then, with an embarrassed smile, he turned around and apologized to the Water Sect's disciple, "I'm sorry, sir. As you can see, our restaurant is full, so, of course, if you want to wait, you can wait for a while. After everyone finishes eating, you can go up. I just don't know if you can wait." The attitude of the Water School's disciples had already affected the people eating on the first floor. The entire first floor quieted down. Everyone's eyes were on the Water School disciples, some of them full of mockery. Some of their eyes were filled with disdain, and some of their eyes were filled with disgust. Of course, there were also those whose eyes were filled with fear. The Water Sect had a transcendent status in the God realm, and wasn't something that small sects like theirs could compare to. When the Water Sect members heard what the waiter said, their expressions grew even more ferocious. They looked like they wanted to kill someone. "Bastard. We're disciples of the Water School. Aren't you afraid that the Water School will kill you all?" An outspoken and narrow-minded person from the Water Sect ignored the gazes of the crowd and the face of the Stormwind House's owner. He shut his mouth and threatened the Stormwind House owner. Regarding this point, everyone's expression changed at this moment and became unified. The original ridicule, disdain, and disgust all turned into the attitude of watching a show. They all knew that although the owner of Stormwind House wasn't part of the 7 sects, she was still very strong. After all, in the God realm, if someone mentioned the jade-faced Rakshasa, they'd think of her as the owner of Stormwind House. Stormwind House had charged into a first-rank sect all by herself, and no one had been able to stop her. Your Water School really does have a lot of face now. You don't even put me in your eyes. It looks like those old bastards have forgotten about me after all these years of seclusion." Just as the atmosphere became extremely awkward and quiet, an extremely enchanting woman walked down the stairs. Her face was full of charm, and her body was curvaceous. She gave off an exquisite feeling. However, it was precisely this kind of woman that caused everyone's gazes to be filled with admiration and adoration the moment she appeared. That included the Water School disciples. "Who the fuck do you think you are? What right do you have to speak? Who do you think you are? Aren't you just a toy for us to play with? Seriously." After a peng sound, the young man who had been cursing in a particularly carefree manner was instantly sent flying. The instant he was sent flying, while he was still in the air, he had already lost all signs of life and turned into an ice-cold corpse. Hiss. Everyone couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. It was rumored that when the jade-faced Rakshasa attacked, corpses would litter the ground. No one even knew how she did it. Now that they'd seen it for themselves, they knew that the rumors weren't baseless. You. The water school disciple looked at his junior brother who'd been sent flying. When he sensed no signs of life, he was shocked. At the same time, he remembered that the jade-faced Rakshasa was the reason Stormwind House had been able to stand for so long. However, he regretted that it was too late. They had completely offended the woman in front of them. Humph. I've been in power for many years. I didn't think I'd be taken advantage of by a bunch of brats. Haha. How laughable. The jade-faced Rakshasa's voice was cold. Madam, I think your punishment was a bit light. If it were up to me, we should have just killed them all. Wouldn't that be enough? That's right, madam. Look at those shifty eyes. It's obvious the water school didn't teach them well. Why don't we just let them die here so they don't pollute the air of the god realm? Ha ha ha. Well said. The water school is nothing more than that. They're complete idiots. The water sect members' faces were ashen, and their hearts were burning with rage. What's going on? Bai Xiaochun's face was ashen, and his eyes were filled with rage. Those who were able to make it here were all elites of their sections. They had never suffered such humiliation in their sections. Now, after hearing the discussions of the crowd and the killing intent of the jade-faced Rakshasa, they wanted to vent their anger. However, they couldn't because the person standing in front of them was an expert of the same generation as their elders. He was a mountain that they couldn't cross yet. The water school disciples could only grit their teeth and swallow their anger. In the end, they could only wait until they were strong enough to get their revenge. But now, they could only bow and apologize. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry, Senior Azura. We were rash and didn't consider your opinions. We'll leave now. Enjoy your meal. With that said, Shui Zongxin left Stormwind House in front of everyone's eyes. Ha ha ha. Laughter erupted from the mouths of the water sect members as soon as they emerged from the Gale Rain Tavern. The sound caused the faces of the water sect members to turn as red as pig liver, and their hearts to fill with resentment and hatred. Humph. Just you wait. Sooner or later, I'll be back for revenge. The young man from the water school turned, glared at the Stormwind House signboard, and then left with his people. Young master, what do we do next? At this moment, Chu Ci, seated by the window on the second floor of Stormwind Manor, was asking Linley for instructions. Heh. Let's wait and see. The ancient corpse vault hasn't opened yet, and all the sects are stirring. I don't want to appear in front of them so soon. It's best if Ning Yuan doesn't know I've been here. That way, I can sneak in, take the 10 treasures, and leave. Lin Rei and the others were sitting on the second floor. Hua Yinghua wasn't among them. More than 2 months had passed since Linley left Jade City. In these 2 months, the Pai Xiu's group had crossed several continents before finally arriving at the closest city to the ancient corpse trove. In the past few days, Lin Rei's life had been rich and exciting. Apart from cultivating on the Pai Xiu's back, he spent the rest of his time refining pills. In the past 2 months alone, Linley had refined hundreds of 9 revolutions mixed energy pills. However, he didn't use a single one. Instead, he gave all of them to the demonic phoenix, as well as the Pai Xiu that carried them. Of course, in the beginning, the Pai Xiu and the demonic phoenix had nearly come to blows over the pills. But for some reason, in the end, the two of them came to an agreement that each of them wanted half of the pills that Linley had refined. Linley didn't know whether to laugh or cry at this, but he couldn't refuse. In the end, he could only smile bitterly and nod. Although he didn't want to, he still had to do it. After all, the refinement process of the 9 revolutions mixed energy pill and the spiritual ingredients required were astronomical prices, yet they had been refined for 2 months. If this happened in the saints' world, there would probably be a few saints who would become restless and fight over them. After all, chaotic qi was not something that could be easily obtained in the saints' world. Apart from a few powerful figures from a few sects who could obtain it, others could only cultivate in the saints' world spiritual energy to strengthen their own cultivation. Actually, in my opinion, we might as well go straight into the ancient quartz vault. The sudden words attracted Lin Rei's attention. At this moment, the person who spoke was Xie Feng. You want to go straight in? You have to know that the ancient quartz vault hasn't opened yet. Lin Rei was puzzled. Sigh. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Xie Feng sighed helplessly and said, so what if it hasn't opened? Have you forgotten that although it's sealed, it's just talismans and formations? No matter how wrong it is, it's just a restriction. I don't believe that with your current level of formations, you can't break it. Of course, even if you can't break it now, it's still better than doing it here. After Xie Feng's words, Lin Rei was stunned and fell silent. That's right. The seal is at most made up of formations or talismans. With my current level, maybe I can really break it? As he thought about this, for the sake of getting more information, Linley's divine will entered his system and began to ask questions. System, tell me. If I'm now, can I break the seal outside the ancient quartz vault? Lin Rei stopped talking. After a while, the system spoke. I don't know. I haven't seen the ancient quartz vault and don't know how strong the restriction outside is, so, Hearing this, Lin Rei smiled awkwardly and continued, it doesn't matter if you haven't seen it. According to your imagination, if I can break the seal outside the ancient quartz vault, what are the chances? At this time, the system was speechless and didn't say anything. In this regard, Lin Rei looked at the system and didn't have any further confirmation. Finally, he fell silent. Alright, since that's the case, I'll leave first. I'll see when I reach the ancient quartz vault. After saying that, he instantly exited the system and returned to his body. At this moment, he made a decision. He would go to the ancient quartz vault first. No matter if he could break it, or not, there was no harm in going first. After all, there was an old saying that the early bird gets the worm. Lin Rei believed that this saying was well-founded. Alright, since that's the case, we'll go to the ancient quartz vault later and break the seal. I'd like to see how strong this seal is. Don't be fooled by Linley's self-confidence. Beneath his confident exterior, however, was an extremely guilty conscience. Although he felt that his own level of insight was very high, for him to be able to break through a Tibetan seal, one could imagine how powerful the seal was. Of course, the only way to reach the ancient quartz vault was to cross the entire Sky Mountain range. In this mountain range, there were all kinds of demonic beasts. Some people even said that in the important areas of the Sky Mountain range, there were a few godly venerable level demonic beasts. No matter if it was strength, physical body, or realm, they were all very strong. Moreover, the demonic beast's great Tao would reach a certain level and become a human, just like Xie Feng, no different from ordinary people. Yes. All right. Hearing Lin Rei's words, the three of them nodded and agreed. They were not willing to bring too many people here. After all, there were too many people here. If they were to bump into that familiar person, then trouble would come one after another. This was something that Lin Rei did not want to see happen. It was also something that they did not want to see happen. Young master, Huayuan, what do you plan to do? Should he wait? Or do we just leave? The sudden words made Lin Rei, Chu Ci, and Xie Feng completely stunned on the spot. They looked at Yun Kai as if she was an idiot. It was as if they did not expect that a smart Yun Kai would ask such a stupid question. Oh, no, we didn't plan to bring her along. Since she didn't follow us, that's great. We can finally have some peace, isn't it? Hee, that's right. That good girl is simply a follower, a dog skin plaster. Once she sticks to you, you can't get rid of her even if you want to. Chapter 752. At this moment, everyone thought that getting rid of Huayuan was the right decision. After all, she was not one of them, and it would be inappropriate for them to do some secret things with her around. Alright, let's eat and leave. After saying that, everyone started eating. The meal was finished in less than 10 minutes. Looking at them, Lin Rei stood up and said, "Let's go. We can't stay here for long." After saying that, he went downstairs and walked towards the western city gate without waiting for them. Right at this moment, Chu Ci, who understood Lin Li's intentions, hurriedly followed behind him. After persuading the payment counter downstairs, he didn't say anything, just took out 10,000 mid-grade divine crystals, tossed them to the counter, and left. He did not care if he had given too much. At this moment, he was not in the mood to do so. Lin Rei was already nowhere to be seen. At the exit of the storm house, Chu Ci circulated his cultivation and used his lightning-fast footwork. He turned into a ray of light and disappeared on the path to the western city gate. At this moment, Lin Rei had already arrived at the western city gate with Xie Feng and Yun Kai by his side. Why isn't he here yet? He stopped and turned around, looking in the direction he had come from. He was speechless. At this moment, Xie Feng also frowned at Lin Rei's words, but her words were gentle and tactful. Maybe he was delayed by something. I'm sure he'll be back soon. Let's wait a little longer. Swoosh, suddenly, a ray of light appeared in front of everyone's eyes and rushed towards them. At this moment, everyone's faces were filled with joy, and they immediately turned and walked out of the city. Swoosh, huff, huff. We finally caught up. Finally, the moment Lin Rei and the others stepped out of the city gate, Chu Ci finally caught up with them. He was panting heavily, as if he was very tired. Looking at Chu Ci behind him, Lin Rei became excited and teased him, your cultivation is still not enough. Moreover, your body is probably not as strong as my disciples. Chu Ci fell silent with an awkward expression. At this time, Lin Rei was also silent. Speaking of which, he hadn't seen them for a long time. Speaking of which, he was really incompetent as a master. It had been at least a few thousand years since he had taken them in as his disciples. The time he had spent by their side, teaching them cultivation methods, battle tactics, and other similar things was not long at all. That was especially true considering that they had all come from the profound heaven continent. They didn't have any relatives here. Thinking of this, Lin Rei's heart suddenly began to ache. Sigh. I wonder how they are doing. Have their cultivations improved? Have they been bullied? How are they doing in the sect? All of these questions popped up one after another. His originally excited mood disappeared at this moment, and it was replaced by endless sadness and longing. Of course, he knew that this would be futile. Therefore, he forcefully suppressed this feeling in his heart. After all, before he could return to their side and teach them cultivation methods and battle tactics quietly, he had to have the ability to conquer this world. Thinking of this, Lin Rei became even more determined. His path was not wrong. Furthermore, no matter how great the dangers and obstacles ahead of him were, he would overcome them with determination. Just like this, the group exited the city gate and flew towards the west. After 3 days and 3 nights, they finally arrived at the entrance of the Sky Mountain Range on the evening of the 4th day. Ao. At this moment, the moment Lin Rei and the others arrived at the entrance of the Sky Mountain Range, a series of earth-shattering roars of beasts came from the mountain range. However, from the sound, everyone could feel that these roaring beasts were not a threat to them at all. Instead, they would become food to satisfy their cravings. After all, at their level, they no longer needed to consume food to improve their cultivation. The reason why they ate was because of their cravings and enjoyment. After all, eating was a very blissful and joyful thing. They would not miss this opportunity. Looking at the Sky Mountain Range, Lin Rei's eyes glowed with golden light. A streak of crystal-clear liquid flowed out from the corner of his mouth uncontrollably. Hee, fresh beast meat. I really want to have one now. At this moment, Xie Feng and the others rolled their eyes and were filled with helplessness after hearing Lin Rei's words. Looking at the young master that he had acknowledged, Chu Xi let out a long sigh. However, he had to admit that after hearing Lin Rei's words, he was unnaturally convinced and looked as though he wanted to give it a try. Let's go. If you want to eat, I'll let you have your fill inside. At this moment, Xia Feng said after seeing how hungry the two of them were. Her body turned into a gust of wind and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Oh. Competing in speed? Seeing Xia Feng's movement technique, Lin Rei's heart was moved and he wanted to compete with her. You're going to catch up. If one of you is last, then. Hee, I'm sorry, but you'll have to prepare the barbecue later. Whoosh, after saying that, I didn't give the two of them a chance to react and disappeared on the spot just like Xia Feng. At this moment, it could be said that Linli was moving at full speed, all for the sake of keeping up with the evil phoenix. Sigh. Seeing the two of them disappear, Chu Xi smiled bitterly. Let's go. No matter what, I'm the one who will suffer in the end. Pfft. Looking at her fiancé, Yun Kai burst into laughter. She agreed with Chu Xi's words very much. Chu Xi was very obedient to her words. Okay, let's go. Seeing his fiancé's smile, Chu Xi chuckled and pulled her hand. He chased after Lin Rei and Xia Feng's aura and spiritual energy with all his strength. Whoosh, whoosh, at this moment, in the sky mountain range, two streaks of light flashed. The two of them were almost on par, but the red light was slightly faster. Sigh. It's still the difference in strength. If I could reach the same level as her, I'm sure I wouldn't be any weaker than her. At this moment, Lin Rei's heart was filled with disappointment as he looked at Xia Feng who was ahead faster than him. At the same time, because of this matter, Lin Rei used this matter to encourage himself to work hard and surpass Xia Feng as soon as possible. Not bad, kid. At this time, the red light was Xia Feng who was ahead faster than Lin Rei. Feeling Lin Rei's aura behind her, Xia Feng looked back at him with a face full of praise. It's already very good that you can have this kind of speed. I believe that the Reverend God Realm is no longer a threat to you. There. I'm still not as fast as you. Hearing Xia Feng's words, Lin Rei said truthfully. However, he agreed with Xia Feng's words. His speed had indeed surpassed the Reverend God Realm. Moreover, Lin Rei believed that his cultivation was definitely not weaker than the Reverend God Realm. At the very least, he was not afraid of the late Reverend God Realm. However, he was not confident that he could defeat the perfected Reverend God Realm experts. At least, he would not die in the hands of a perfected Reverend God Realm expert. He believed that there were not many people like him in the divine world. People like him were as rare as phoenix feathers and water chestnuts. After some time, the two of them who looked more like they were exchanging pointers finally stopped. At this moment, the two of them did not know where they were, let alone where they were in the sky mountain range. Looking at the surrounding geography, Lin Rei smiled helplessly. Sigh, I didn't expect to leave the two of them behind. I hope they're fine. Are you kidding? Xia Feng did not give Lin Rei any face and retorted. They are middle-stage God Realm cultivators. If they can't even pass such a small test, they might as well die. Linli was speechless. He didn't expect the evil phoenix to say this. However, it made sense. If they couldn't even pass such a small test, then it could only mean that they weren't strong enough. There was nothing he could do. At this moment, the evil phoenix suggested, all right, go and get a demonic beast. Since they haven't come yet, let's eat and wait. All right. Linli immediately agreed, then disappeared. As for the demonic phoenix, as it watched Linli disappear, it sat down where it had been. It was unknown whether it was a coincidence or not, but at this moment, the scenery around them was very beautiful. Although it was night, the surroundings were bright as if it was daytime. Dong! A loud sound was heard, accompanied by dust. When the dust dissipated, a demonic beast that looked like an elephant but had fangs appeared. And beside the demonic beast, Lin Ray was there. He was looking at her with a smile. That cunning smile made Xia Feng feel a chill down her spine. She had a bad feeling in her heart. Look. I was the one who made these monstrous beasts, and in all this time, I've never eaten anything you made. Look. Linley rubbed his hands together, a chuckle on his face. Demonic Phoenix's face froze, and it stood there, stunned. When she regained her senses, Xia Feng looked at Lin Ray with disdain. It was as if she was saying, "Why is a man so calculative?" Lin Ray chose to ignore Xia Feng's disdainful gaze. He turned around and did not look at her. Instead, he went to the stream and sat down cross-legged. In the face of Lin Ray's action, Xia Feng was helpless. In the end, she could only choose to compromise. Looking at the mountain-sized hand in front of her, Xia Feng smiled bitterly. Her fist turned into a palm, and then with a hand knife, she began to dissolve the mountain-sized hand. The speed was very fast. It was like moving clouds and flowing water. Lin Ray, who had been sitting in the stream but had been paying attention to Xia Feng with his divine sense, was shocked. Damn, so you know how to cook. At this moment, Lin Ray was not shocked by her cultivation, but by Xia Feng's technique of absorbing the amputation. This sort of technique caused even Linley to feel a bit envious. He could tell that there was something profound about this technique. Bang! 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 Under Xia Feng's special amputation technique, the giant demonic beast was easily disintegrated. Whoosh! Pang! Clatter! Clatter! The small stream in front of Linley suddenly began to surge with waves. The small stream, which had been so clear that the bottom of the stream could be seen, now slowly began to turn blood red, as though it was a river of blood. It made one's hair stand on end, and one's hair stand on end. Damn, what are you doing? At this time, because it happened so suddenly, Lin Ray did not have time to react. At this moment, Lin Ray's body was wet, and he was not lucky enough to escape the erosion of the stream. I didn't mean it. Xia Feng, who knew Lin Ray's temperament very well, had already thought of what Lin Ray wanted to say, so she had already prepared a response. At this moment, Lin Ray's words were abruptly choked back. He did not know what to say. As the saying goes, one does not hit a smiling person. Looking at Xia Feng's smiling and harmless face, he, who was originally full of anger, felt very weak like a deflated balloon. Alas! In the end, he had no choice but to leave the stream. After Xia Feng's fiddling, the stream, which was originally emitting a fragrance, was now filled with a pungent smell of blood. At least you know what's good for you. Seeing Lin Ray leave, Xia Feng snorted. Then, she used her spiritual qi to hold the demonic beast in the air. Boom! In an instant, the undying flame rushed out of Xia Feng's palm. As if it had a spirit, it directly surrounded the giant demonic beast and began to roast it from the outside to the inside. Not bad. TSK. At this time, Lin Ray, who had retreated to the side, saw Xia Feng's action and immediately felt relieved and went back to cultivate. Whoosh, whoosh, after an unknown period of time, only the smell of meat drifted in the air. At this time, two streamers cut across the sky and finally stopped in front of Xia Feng. The streamers dispersed, and a man and a woman appeared, their faces full of smiles. At this moment, the two of them were not strangers, but Chu Ci and Yun Kai. You're here. Seeing that it was the two of them, the evil phoenix greeted them indifferently. Then, it returned to focusing on roasting the meat. Senior Xia Feng. Looking at Xia Feng, the two of them respectfully greeted her and then walked toward Lin Ray's place. But not very quickly. The two of them tiptoed as if they were afraid of trampling the flowers under their feet and came to Lin Ray's front. Young master, we're here. At this moment, Lin Ray, who was cultivating, heard the call from the outside world and slowly woke up. Lin Ray opened his eyes and looked at the two of them. Then, he smiled. How was it? Was the journey smooth? Yes, it was okay. But we met a demonic beast that was blind and I killed it. I originally wanted to bring it back for roasting, but I didn't expect. Chu Ci said as she glanced at Xia Feng, who was roasting meat in the distance, and then stopped talking. It's okay. Take the extra as a treat. A treat? Hearing this, Chu Ci's eyes were full of doubts. Yes. In response to Chu Ci's doubts, Lin Rei raised his head and 2 golden rays instantly rushed out of his eyes. It was as if he could see through the ages and looked into the distance. Friend, you've been following us all the way. Isn't it time to come out? We have roasted meat, and you have wine. Wine with meat is perfect, isn't it? Chapter 753. At this moment, everyone understood what Lin Rei was saying and looked towards the direction he was looking at. At this moment, everyone stopped being relaxed and tensed up. They were on high alert. Sigh. Under everyone's gaze, a beautiful lady came out from the darkness. Her speed was not very fast. Looking at the beautiful lady, Chu Ci frowned and was shocked. Isn't this the lady boss of Storm House, a hierarch expert? At this moment, other than Lin Rei and Xia Feng, Chu Ci were extremely nervous. They were nothing in front of a hierarch. How did you find me? The jade-faced Rakshasa stared at Linli, a look of surprise on her face. She didn't understand. She felt as though she hadn't made any mistakes at all, and the difference in power between the two of them was simply too great. TSK. Hearing her question, Lin Rei chuckled and said, "It's easy if you want to know. Bring me the best wine in Storm House and I'll tell you. Of course, you have no choice." As he spoke, a wave of killing intent surged out towards the jade-faced Rakshasa. At this moment, Linli was no longer as gentle as before. The current him was like the god of death descending upon the world. There seemed to be no life left in the surroundings. Because from the moment you started following us, your life no longer belongs to you. So, you have no choice. Oh. The jade-faced Rakshasa frowned and had a bad premonition. She had not had this feeling since she stepped into the Emperor God realm. She did not expect it to happen today. Moreover, it was on such a young man, whose cultivation was 1 level lower than hers. This made her very puzzled. Looking at her puzzled expression, Lin Rei smiled and pointed at her feet. He said confidently, "You can try. Let's see if your hierarch realm is stronger or if my hierarch realm killing formation is stronger. Of course, I am very confident in my killing formation. But if you don't believe me, I can be kind and demonstrate it to you. Of course, if that's the case, your life, I will." After saying that, Lin Rei shrugged indifferently. He looked very cold-blooded. "What, you?" When the jade-faced Rakshasa heard these words and combined them with Lin Rei's calmness and performance, he continuously released his divine sense to investigate the area beneath his feet. As the saying goes, it is better to believe than not. If it is true, then, he had heard of an honorable array master before. Moreover, there was an honorable array master in the god realm. Moreover, he was an old man. Even if a peak honorable realm cultivator entered the killing array, even if they did not die in the end, even if they managed to escape from the array, they would not be able to fight anymore. At that time, the only outcome would be death. Although she did not know if the venerable great array formation was real, but, ever since she came here, the palpitations in her heart had become more and more intense. She couldn't help but have a preconceived notion and believe that this matter was true. At this moment, under the investigation of her divine sense, she saw a very terrifying energy contained under her feet. Although she was now in a state of deep sleep, she could feel that if this energy was activated, she would undoubtedly die. Seeing this, the jade-faced Rakshasa could not help but look at Lin Rei in shock. Her expression was filled with shock and curiosity at the same time. She was shocked that she could meet such a young array master here. She was even more shocked that this young man could possess the strength of an honorable array formation at such a young age. she could not help but be curious. She was very curious about what kind of power could nurture him to such an extent. How about it? Do you want to drink and eat meat and have a long talk, or do you want to break the array over there while we sit here and eat meat and watch? At this moment, while the jade-faced Rakshasa was shocked and curious, Lin Ray's words entered her ears. Immediately, her heart trembled and she made her choice. All right, I will provide the wine and you provide the meat. Huh, great, Lin Ray seemed to have expected this result. Then, with a wave of his hand, the honorable array formation hidden under the jade-faced Rakshasa's feet instantly disappeared without a trace. The jade-faced Rakshasa, who had been sensing the array on the ground, immediately curled her lips into an enchanting smile when she sensed the array disappear. Then, she walked towards Xia Feng, who was barbecuing meat. Lin Ray also stopped his impulse to continue cultivating. Then, he brought the two of them over to Xia Feng. You've come. At this moment, Xia Feng looked at the jade-faced Rakshasa with an enchanting smile and spoke gently. Hearing the evil phoenix's question, the jade-faced Rakshasa was stunned on the spot, looking confused. She was the first to discover your existence. As for me, when I exited the gates of Levitating City, I suddenly sensed a pair of eyes staring at me from behind. That's why I paid attention to you. Linley, having arrived, spoke out. What? The jade-faced Rakshasa looked at Xia Feng in horror when she heard Lin Ray's words. Originally, she thought that Lin Ray was the only one who had discovered her. She did not expect that the woman who was barbecuing meat would be the first to discover her. How could she not be shocked? Especially when she realized that this meant that the woman in red's cultivation was probably already. The jade-faced Rakshasa did not dare to think further. Because if she thought further, she would be in the sage state. At this moment, the jade-faced Rakshasa's restless heart calmed down. Then, she sat on the rock obediently and did not dare to make any moves. There's no need to be so restrained. As long as you're not harmful to us. This sentence had a deep meaning, and it could be understood as two meanings. First, you can do whatever you want, and there's no need to be reserved. Second, if you dare to have any improper thoughts, then you'll be in so much pain that you'll wish you were dead. The jade-faced Rakshasa understood the underlying meaning. She nodded heavily and replied to Xia Feng respectfully, yes, yes, yes. Definitely not, definitely not. That's good. With that, Xia Feng placed the roasted beast meat in front of everyone. Then, she tore off a piece and handed it to the jade-faced Rakshasa. Come, have a taste of my cooking. Thank you, Senior. The jade-faced Rakshasa was so flattered that she hurriedly received it with both hands. She looked very respectful and did not dare to make any mistakes. Lin Ray and the other two smiled at this scene. They were full of admiration. After knowing that the jade-faced Rakshasa could not cause any trouble, she relaxed her vigilance. Then, she came to the roasted meat, tore off a piece, and began to chew on it. Chu Ci did not pay any attention to this. Since something had happened, the taller one would keep an eye on it. Come, as the boss of Storm House, I believe you should have a lot of good wine on you. The jade-faced Rakshasa smiled awkwardly and nodded. It's all right. Although it's not much, but, with that, a dozen jars of wine appeared on the empty ground in the blink of an eye. The fragrance of the wine permeated the air and refreshed the mind. Phew, good wine. Smelling the applause in the air, Lin Ray took a deep breath and exhaled. He could not help but praise. This wine is called the 100-fruit wine. It is brewed from 100 kinds of spirit fruits. Every drop is very precious. Moreover, the fruits used to brew the 100-fruit wine are priceless. They are very valuable. Gulp, gulp, just as the jade-faced Rakshasa was explaining the origin of the wine in front of her, she suddenly heard a strange sound. She turned her head and saw Lin Ray gulping down a jar of 100-fruit wine. He looked very forthright, but the jade-faced Rakshasa felt very pained when she saw this. This was the wine she treasured very much. Normally, she would not bear to drink it. But now, seeing someone gulp it down, how could she not feel pained? Thud. In less than a minute, Linley had drained the entire jug of wine in one gulp, then viciously smashed the jug onto the ground. Seeing Lin Ray's drinking speed, the jade-faced Rakshasa's mouth twitched. Her face was full of embarrassment. Thinking that the wine she had treasured for thousands of years was going to disappear like water, she could not help but want to slap herself. Awesome, phew, drinking wine and eating meat. At this moment, Lin Ray suddenly felt that his life was complete. If he could live like this forever, it would not be a bad thing. Everyone, eat. Seeing everyone's shocked gazes, Lin Ray called out to everyone and then continued with the second jar of wine. Just like that, jar after jar was drunk. In the blink of an eye, more than an hour had passed. Under the siege of everyone, the giant monster was left with a pile of bones. Phew, comfortable. He rubbed his stomach and raised his back, looking very satisfied. This caused the evil phoenix beside him to laugh. However, although everyone was eating and drinking, Lin Ray did not forget about the jade-faced Rakshasa. Now that they had eaten and drunk, it was time to settle the score. After Lin Ray's serious expression, everyone fell into silence. No one said anything. Except for the jade-faced Rakshasa herself, everyone's eyes were fixed on her. At this moment, looking at her, Lin Ray spoke. Speak. Why are you following us? Lin Ray's words were exactly what Xie Feng and the others were thinking. They were also very curious as to why the jade-faced Rakshasa was following them. Seeing everyone's gaze, the jade-faced Rakshasa trembled. She smiled bitterly and said, Do you still remember that time at Stormhouse? Yes. What's wrong? Lin Ray nodded in response. When you first came, I felt that you were extraordinary. Although you are only a late god emperor, the spiritual energy in your body is dense. It is something I have never seen before. Moreover, I can vaguely feel a very mysterious and powerful aura from your body. I am very curious about this. The ancient corpse trove is about to open. I want to obtain an item from the ancient corpse trove. Furthermore, I unintentionally heard you all saying that you would be leaving first. Thus, I followed you all to take a look. I didn't expect. AI. Hee, you didn't expect me to know about arrays. Moreover, my attainments in arrays are so high. I even helped you suppress it, right? He said to her with an amused expression. Yes. This is what I didn't expect. Although I heard that you could break the seal outside the ancient corpse trove, I didn't expect your attainments in arrays to be so high. After hearing the truth, Lin Ray understood her motive. Alright, I don't intend to pursue this matter. Lin Ray said to the jade-faced Rakshasa. Although she had been tailing them, Linley decided not to pursue the matter, seeing that she didn't have any bad intentions, and seeing the wine she had just offered him. However, he was very curious about the thing that the jade-faced Rakshasa mentioned. He really couldn't figure out what it was that could make a hierarch cultivator yearn for it. Firstly, he saw the rationality in the jade-faced Rakshasa's eyes. He didn't believe that the jade-faced Rakshasa wanted to get the Corpse King pill. But other than the Corpse King pill, he couldn't think of anything else. When Lin Ray opened his mouth to ask what it was, the jade-faced Rakshasa seemed to understand Lin Ray's intention. She immediately stopped him and replied, I want a string of Buddha beads. It is a string of innate treasure that belonged to Saint Buddha Nan Wu. Innate treasure? You're saying that the ancient corpse trove has that thing? At this moment, it was Lin Ray's turn to be shocked. He knew very well about innate treasures. It was a Dharma artifact that evolved from heaven and earth at the beginning of the world. Its power was more than double that of an acquired treasure. However, Lin Ray couldn't figure out why no one else knew that there was an innate treasure in the ancient corpse trove. Everyone looked at the jade-faced Rakshasa in confusion. Even Xie Feng was the same. As a living being of the untainted land, she also knew how precious innate treasures were. Looking at everyone's confused eyes, the jade-faced Rakshasa didn't hide anything and told them everything she knew. It's like this. Back then, I found a map in the ancient corpse trove. There was information about the Buddha beads on the back of the map. Moreover, the location of the Buddha beads was clearly marked on the map, so you want to take it for yourself when the ancient corpse trove opens, right? At this moment, everyone would be fools if they still didn't understand. However, Lin Rei was also interested in the innate treasure, the Buddha beads. Although his weapon was a spear, who wouldn't want an innate treasure? The answer, of course, was no. It wasn't just Linley. Even the demonic phoenix felt a surge of compassion in her heart. After all, when she was sealed, all her Khanate cardinal treasures had been taken away by Haotian. At this moment, it could be said that she did not have any external support except for her own unprecedented cultivation. As a living being of the untainted land and a product of heaven and earth, she couldn't help but feel ashamed and humiliated. I want to work with you. Of course, other than the Buddha beads, you can ask for anything you want. When these words entered Linley's ears, they were filled with wild arrogance. However, Linley didn't dare to be interested in the jade-faced Rakshasa's conditions at all. What he was interested in right now, aside from the Corpse King pills, was a string of Buddhist prayer beads. Chapter 754. Xia Feng's eyes flashed with amusement as she looked at the jade-faced Rakshasa. However, she didn't notice it at all. Cooperating with you? You're overthinking it. It would be a waste not to take such a good thing. Innate treasure, this is, of course, Evil Phoenix naturally couldn't say this out loud. Although he said this in his heart, he didn't show it on his face. Forget it, we don't know if that thing is real or not. Moreover, we are going in for the Corpse King pill. We don't want to consider anything else, so, after speaking, Demonic Phoenix shrugged, then turned to look at Linley, as though he wanted to know what Linley was thinking. Damn, this guy. Lin Rei's face darkened as he watched Xia Feng kick the balloon jade-faced Azura over. At this moment, Lin Rei cursed Xia Feng no less than 100 times in his mind. Yes, this time we're going to find the Corpse King pill, so, sorry. Of course, despite Xia Feng's words, after spending so much time with her, he already knew what Xia Feng was thinking. It would be strange if Xia Feng wasn't tempted by a innate treasure, such a top-grade artifact. A innate treasure. It wasn't something any top-grade artifact could compare to. Moreover, the Corpse King, the master of the ancient corpse vault, had ruled it for so long. Perhaps the Corpse King had already found the Buddhist beads. As for Chu Xiai and Chu Li, they didn't know much about Khanate treasures, so they were confused. Fine. The jade-faced Rakshasa was disappointed at Lin Rei's refusal. She thought they would agree to her request because of her family's wealth. But now, she was very surprised. It wasn't that her things weren't tempting enough, but that she was facing Lin Rei. Just the things in the storage rings of the people he killed before were comparable to what the jade-faced Rakshasa had. If he added his own, even the jade-faced Azura's wealth wouldn't be 1/10 of what Lin Rei had. Of course, her biggest weakness was that she didn't know Lin Rei. If she did, she wouldn't have made such a request. Furthermore, even if she used her own cultivation technique, or herself, Linley would still be indifferent to it. At home, he had 2 beautiful wives who were as beautiful as flowers and as beautiful as jade. How could he take a fancy to the jade-faced Rakshasa? Moreover, there was no way that Lin Rei would be interested in her cultivation method. After all, there was a sutra pavilion in the system. You could have any cultivation method you wanted in there. Moreover, all of them were better than hers. With such conditions, why would Linley want to work with her? Of course, unless that person was a fool. Seeing the jade-faced Azura's melancholy, Lin Rei chuckled. He stood up and said to Xia Feng and the others, "All right, since we're done eating, let's go for a walk." Are you sure now? Hearing Linley's words, Evil Phoenix was startled and looked at him suspiciously. He then pointed at his junior apprentice brother in the night sky. Yes. Young master, it's night now. That's when the monsters are active. If we go now, won't we? AI. When these words entered Linley's ears, a look of speechlessness appeared on his face. As a middle-stage god-emperor, he actually dared to utter such words. In truth, at this moment, Lin Rei really wanted to slap the back of Chu Si's head. Alright, stop talking nonsense. It's because it's night time that I'm asking you to go together. Saying that, Lin Rei pointed at Chu Si's bulging stomach and said with disdain, as a cultivator, take a look at yourself. You don't even have the demeanor of an expert. Furthermore, isn't that how the saying goes? Move a bit after a meal and you'll live to 99. Even though your life force is vigorous, but, Aya. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was listening by the side, could not take it anymore and said, I say, can you guys do it or not? Are you going or not? Saying that, Xie Feng did not rush them. She chose a direction and walked over. Seeing this scene, jade-faced Azura, who had been observing by the side, felt awkward. He had never seen such a situation before and found it funny. Lin Rei was startled by Xie Feng. He immediately chased after her. Since Lin Rei already had one, the other two naturally would not stay here. They immediately followed. Should I follow or not? Staying where he was and looking at the empty space, the jade-faced Rakshasa felt a trace of loneliness. Loneliness, at this moment, he could not help but recall the scene where Lin Rei and the others were talking. Immediately, a smile appeared on his face. Hee, let's follow them. It's quite fun to be with them. Saying that, he looked in the direction Lin Rei and the others went. He circulated his cultivation and chased after them. With his speed, he covered 1,000 meters with each step. Awoo, the wind at night was slightly chilly. The forest that should have been dark was not dark at all. As the saying went, the dark and windy night could kill people. The night in the Sky Mountain Range was soul-stirring and very shocking. At this moment, Lin Rei and the others had already arrived at the central area of the mountain range. Here, powerful demonic beasts were everywhere, especially those in the Emperor God realm. They were endless. Linley's group made their way through the mountain forest, their faces calm and even a hint of contentment. However, it was different for Chu Si and the other one. Both of them were tense and ready to fight. It was as if they were ready to fight at any moment. Observing their expressions, Lin Rei chuckled and said, in a while, I'll find some demonic beasts for you. You have to do your best and see who can kill the demonic beasts first. Oh, right. Saying that, he seemed to have thought of something and continued, whoever kills the demonic beasts I choose for you first will be taught the physique refinement technique. This way, your physical body will be able to transform further and achieve an immortal body. Moreover, after the refinement, you will be able to kill an emperor god with one punch. Without using your cultivation, you will be able to fight an emperor god with just your physical body. Your strength will be unstoppable. Saying that, Lin Rei's face was full of pride. He was a physique refinement cultivator and could fight an emperor god with just one punch. If he fully unleashed his physical body, perhaps even a mid or late ultimate god cultivator would be a match for him. Thank you, young master. We will do our best. At this moment, both of their faces were filled with excitement. Of course, they wanted such a cultivation technique. Moreover, the physical body had always been a taboo for cultivators. If they could cultivate both the inner and outer body, then, the result could be imagined. Who would be a match for them in the same realm? Of course, although they were excited when they heard about the reward, they were still very afraid of the demonic beasts they were about to face. Moreover, they knew Lin Rei's character. If he were to choose, he would choose at least a great perfection god emperor or an early ultimate god. Thinking of that, both of them wanted to reject the reward. However, the thought of getting a physique refinement technique was too tempting. Therefore, the temptation shattered their thoughts of retreating. Good, you're worth teaching, seeing the resolute look in their eyes, Linley knew that they had truly made up their minds to challenge him. Get ready, the battle is about to begin. Yes, hearing this, the two of them did not dare to slack off. They immediately sat down cross-legged and began to circulate their cultivation techniques. They wanted to replenish all the spiritual energy they had just consumed. Looking at their actions, Lin Ray chuckled. The corner of his lips curled into a sly smile. Then, he took out a 9-revolution mixed essence pill and passed it to Xie Feng. Help me catch 2 great perfection God Emperor demonic beasts for them to train. Since they've come to the demonic beast territory, don't you think it's a pity if they don't train their willpower and raise their cultivation? Hearing this, Xie Feng was stunned. She thought that Chu Feng was shameless. However, for the sake of the 9-revolution mixed essence pill, Xie Feng readily agreed. Wait. After saying that, he disappeared from where he was. At this moment, only the two of them, Chu Feng and jade-faced Rakshasa, were left. Your method is better. It's very suitable for training the Sect's disciples. Jade-faced Azura praised. Looking at her, Lin Ray chuckled. Then, he didn't say anything. Facing her, Lin Ray didn't have the urge to speak at all. He had nothing to say. The situation was very awkward. Not knowing what to do, he took out an immortal fruit from his storage ring and swallowed it. Crunch, the sweet fruit juice was very delicious. If this was the immortal world, if someone saw Lin Ray eating this fruit, they would definitely want to kill him or trick him to come here. Ding dong, The sudden sound of the system notification surprised Lin Ray. He hadn't heard this sound in a long time. Every time, it was because there was a mission, and it was dangerous. Now that it was here, he couldn't help but be vigilant. On the other side, she felt Lin Ray's immortal realm tense up. She thought that an expert had arrived. Then, she released her divine sense and began to investigate. However, after scanning with her divine sense, she didn't find anything out of the ordinary. However, she was puzzled by Lin Ray's vigilance. In the end, she had no choice but to remain silent. At this moment, hearing the notification, Lin Ray's divine sense moved and he instantly entered the system. Looking at the clear sky, Lin Ray asked, "What's the matter?" "Actually, it's nothing. I just checked just now and found that there is a very rare demon beast living in the Sky Mountain range. This demon beast is the first living thing in the universe." "What? The first living thing in the universe is here?" Lin Ray was shocked. He opened his mouth wide enough to fit a fist. It was very funny. Chapter 755. That's right. Looking at Lin Ray's comical expression, the emotionless system chuckled. But at this moment, Linley didn't care about whether he laughed or not. Instead, he focused all of his attention on the first batch of living beings. What is it? The 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig is one of the most miraculous races in the world. Only one will be born in the 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig race every millions of years. Actually, I wasn't sure at first. However, the system has detected signs of activity from the 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig tribe. So, do you want it or not? At this moment, the system directly placed the choices in front of Linley, allowing him to choose. It was exactly the same as the one it had given him before. To be honest, when the system mentioned the 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig, Lin Ray's heart skipped a beat. Although he didn't know what it could be used for, it was the first batch of living creatures in the world. Just like Xie Feng and Pai Xiu, they were born from the world infused with the Great Tao. Oh, right, I forgot to tell you. While Linley was silent, the system seemed to have thought of something and added, the uniqueness of the 8 Treasures Exquisite Boar clan is that they are immune to all spells and are immune to all spells. Furthermore, their physical bodies are extremely powerful. Of course, that's not the most important thing. The 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig tribe is the most powerful and most sought-after ability. They are born with an affinity for heaven and earth treasures. To put it bluntly, the 8 treasures exquisite pig tribe is also known as the treasure-hunting pig tribe. They specialize in finding extremely precious heaven and earth treasures. They don't care about ordinary heaven and earth treasures. Previously, Lin Ray was tempted. However, after hearing the system's explanation, he became impulsive. At this moment, he wanted nothing more than to flip the entire soaring sky mountain range upside down and capture the 8 treasures exquisite pig. Then, he would get him to help him search for godly medicines, godly souls, and various top-notch treasures. Although he didn't need some of them, he still had a sect to support. Lin Ray's catchphrase was, "I'm so poor." How about it? You have 2 choices. Do you want to capture it or not? Of course, I have to make it clear to you first. Lin Ray, who was originally very excited and impulsive, felt like a bucket of cold water had been poured over his head when he heard the system's prerequisites. His excitement and impulsiveness were instantly washed away. As far as he could remember, as long as the system said something like, "but," it would not end well. If he didn't peel off a layer of his skin, then, the system wouldn't give up. When he heard the word prerequisites, Lin Ray was stunned. The system chuckled at Lin Ray's expression and didn't think too much about it. Then, it explained, the prerequisites for your choice are that the 8 treasures exquisite pig is immune to magic and is eroded by magic. Moreover, their race's physical body is the strongest of the strongest, the king of kings. If you want to capture it, you have to think of a way. Otherwise, you will end up with nothing. At this point, Linley was in a difficult position. Immunity to magic was already difficult enough for him. Next, it was the king of the physical body. Wasn't this telling him that unless a miracle happened, he wouldn't be able to capture the 8 treasures exquisite pig? At this moment, Lin Ray's interest was piqued. Now, he could only wait and couldn't hang on to the beast. This feeling made Lin Ray want to die. "All right, you can leave now. This is what I called you for." When Lin Ray heard the system's words, he wanted to say something, but before he could open his mouth, he found himself out of the system space and returned to his body. Sighing, Lin Ray's face was filled with melancholy. He didn't know how to capture the 8 treasures exquisite pig since he couldn't use magic or his physical body. To Linley, this was the most difficult problem of all. Bam! Bam! A sudden loud noise pulled Lin Ray back to reality from his silence. Raising his head, he saw that not far away, 2 demonic beasts the size of small mountains had appeared. In the air, the evil phoenix was controlling them with spells. Seeing this, Linley couldn't help but laugh. Finally, there was something he wanted to do. Lin Ray turned around and said to the 2 who were recovering from their exhaustion, "All right, wake up. Your opponents are here. It's up to you now." Phew! Hearing Linley's call, the 2 of them woke up from their meditations. Raising their heads, they saw the 2 enormous beasts, and the expressions on their faces instantly turned solemn. Looking at their solemn expressions, Lin Ray smiled. 2 grand perfection god emperor demonic beasts. Although they aren't very strong, they're already your limit. I believe you'll be able to kill them. Oh, right. You can use all your strength, including talismans, arrays, pills, deity weapons, and all kinds of external strength. As long as one of you can kill them first, the body refinement technique will be yours. The moment he said this, the 2 became even more solemn. They were clear of their cultivation. And now, they were facing grand perfection god emperor demonic beasts. This made them feel as if they were courting death. So, at this moment, the 2 didn't speak anymore. They didn't retreat. 2 figures flashed past each other. Their speed was so fast that Lin Ray couldn't help but nod in admiration. "All right, I'll leave them to you." At this moment, Xia Feng, who was controlling the 2 demonic beasts, saw the 2 of them. She immediately retracted her aura and cultivation and said to them. After that, her body flashed and disappeared. When she reappeared, she was already beside Lin Rei. Do you really think they can kill these two grand perfection god emperor demonic beasts? You should know that they aren't you or me. They are just ordinary alchemy disciples. Although you've trained them for a period of time, they... Xie Feng looked at Lin Rei with concern and said, "Oh. Did I hear wrongly? The incomparably powerful Lord Xie Feng actually knows how to care for others?" Lin Rei teased. "You, humph." Seeing Lin Rei teasing her, Xie Feng rolled her eyes at him. She then snorted and didn't speak anymore. Hee hee. After seeing Xie Feng's silence, Lin Rei turned to the two of them. At this moment, Lin Rei's eyes were filled with worry. He was also very worried about the two of them. However, if he didn't use this method, it would be impossible for them to raise their cultivation quickly. Everything he did was for the good of the two of them. Even if his son was here, he would do the same. Peng, peng, at this moment, the sky trembled and rumbled. The light of battle flashed in the surrounding 50 kilometers. Ah, seems like they are fine. Linli, who had been observing the battle between Chu Xi and Chu Li, saw them executing all sorts of combat techniques and spells with ease in front of the Grand Perfection God Emperor demonic beasts. There was no danger to their lives at all. At this moment, Linli's face relaxed. His anxious heart finally calmed down. He wasn't worried about the two of them, but the matter of the 8 treasures exquisite pig came. Looking at Xie Feng, Lin Rei raised his eyebrows. His eyes were filled with surprise. Lady Xie Feng, hearing this strange cry, Xie Feng was speechless, but she still turned to Lin Rei and asked, "What's the matter?" Hee hee. With a serious expression, he began to talk about the 8 treasures exquisite pig. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't hide anything from the jade-faced Rakshasa. He generously allowed her to hear everything clearly. A few minutes later, "What? 8 treasures exquisite pig?" Xie Feng was shocked. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. That's impossible. How could such a thing still be alive? I remember that they were all wiped out during the first Great Tribulation. No, there are indeed traces of the 8 treasures exquisite pig here. The information is accurate, there is no luck. He believed in the system. He believed that the 8 treasures exquisite pig was here. Are you sure? Looking at how confident Lin Rei was, Xie Feng couldn't help but confirm. This matter had to be clarified because it was very important. One had to know that the benefits of obtaining the 8 treasures exquisite pig were unimaginable. With the 8 treasures exquisite pig, it would only be a matter of time before they established a sect in the Holy World. As for cultivation resources, it would be a piece of cake for those who possessed the 8 treasures exquisite pig. Yes, I'm sure and certain that the 8 treasures exquisite pig is here. But here comes the problem. How do we capture it? It is immune to magic and has a dominating physical body. Yes. The 8 treasures exquisite pig was a terrifying race in the prehistoric era. If it weren't for the first Great Tribulation, perhaps they would have become the #1 living creature. At this moment, Xie Feng wasn't exaggerating at all. If they couldn't become the #1 living creature by relying on their race's insane constitution and abilities, then it would be an irritable heavenly item. The heavens must be blind. While the two of them were thinking about how to capture the 8 treasures exquisite pig, Xie Feng's eyes glinted as though she had thought of something. Why? You've thought of something? Lin Rei asked anxiously. Heh. Looking at Lin Rei's anxious expression, Xie Feng burst into laughter. Lin Rei was speechless at Xie Feng. But in order to obtain the 8 treasures exquisite pig, Lin Rei hid his expression. Hurry up and say it, Madame Xie Feng. Holy shit. Seeing Linli's despicable appearance, the demonic phoenix was stunned and astonished. This was the first time she had seen this side of Linli after such a long time. All right then. Actually, capturing the 8 treasures exquisite pig isn't that troublesome. Oh. Rather than leaving it there, why not exchange it for a pig that can search for treasures? This kind of business, it's worth it. That's true. At this moment, Lin Ray couldn't help but be a little impressed. You actually helped him remember something that even he had forgotten. After saying that, he thought about the place where he had placed the blood fiend pearl. After thinking about it, he took it out from his storage ring. Boom! Suddenly, a blood-red bead with a faint smell of blood appeared in his empty hand. The baleful blood energy on it fluctuated. The moment the pearl appeared, a terrifying baleful blood energy soared into the sky, shaking the 9 heavens and giving people a soul-stirring feeling. Even Xia Feng and the jade-faced Rakshasa couldn't help but be shocked, and they felt the sudden appearance of the baleful blood energy. The blood fiend pearl was formed by the condensation of pure baleful blood energy. Moreover, it was a top-grade tool for refining top-grade divine artifacts, so its power could be imagined. At this moment, Xia Feng's shocked gaze fell on the pearl in Lin Ray's hand, and her face turned ugly. Boy, how did you get such an evil thing? Yeah. This thing is formed by the condensation of pure baleful blood energy. It can only be formed by killing a lot of people. Don't tell me you. WH, what are you thinking about? Looking at their strange gazes, Lin Ray hurriedly interrupted them and explained. After all, no one wanted to be labeled as a demon who killed people like scything flax. It's like this. I got this blood fiend pearl from a pool. You don't say. The bottom of the pool was filled with white bones, and the number was shocking. Even I couldn't help but feel numb when I saw it. Let me tell you, those two at that time were simply frightening. On this point, Linley wasn't trying to scare people at all. When he had first seen the white bones at the bottom of the lake, his entire body had been frozen in place, and he had been extremely shocked. After hearing Lin Ray's explanation, the two women's expressions became much better. With their powerful cultivation, they could already see the clues of the pearl, which was why the incident just now happened. Looking at their relaxed expressions, Lin Ray smiled in his heart. Then, he said to Xia Feng, "Tell me. Is this thing of mine okay?" This thing? Xia Feng pointed at the blood fiend pearl and asked hesitantly. Yes, that's it. Nothing else. I'm very poor. It's not like you don't know. With that, Lin Ray grabbed his sleeve and pretended to wipe his tears, looking very pitiful. The current Lin Ray was completely different from before. However, she liked the current Lin Ray very much. Enough. With that, Xia Feng took the blood fiend pearl from Lin Ray's hand and placed it in front of her eyes. Although this thing is evil, I have to say that it is indeed a treasure. Nonsense. Lin Ray rolled his eyes at her. This thing is good stuff. I originally planned to refine a supreme-grade divine artifact or elixir. Unfortunately, for the 8 treasures exquisite pig, I can only reluctantly give it up. With that, Lin Ray clutched his chest and looked as if his heart was being torn apart. It looked very funny. TSK. Who would believe that? Lin Ray's words could only fool a 3-year-old child. After working with him for so long, Xia Feng knew very well what he had. Just now, any item he took out was enough to make the 7 sects fight endlessly for it. They could even go to war and fight to the death. Therefore, when Lin Ray said that he was very poor, Xia Feng only had 2 words in her heart to express it. Haha. Believe it or not, it's up to you. After being seen through by Xia Feng, Lin Ray quickly turned his face away and stopped talking. Bang, oh woo, just as the two of them were silent, on the other side, the test between Chu Ci and Yun Kai came to an end. The miserable roar attracted the attention of Lin Ray, Xia Feng, and jade-faced Rakshasa. At this moment, the 3 of them turned around and looked at the battle between Chu Ci and Yun Kai in the distance. At Chu Ci's side. At this moment, Chu Ci was resolute. She used her water cloud sword technique to the extreme. The sword aura that filled the sky were like thousands of swimming dragons as they swam around the huge bodies of the monstrous beasts. Wherever the sword aura passed, the monstrous beasts would suffer the consequences of being cut open. Fresh blood flowed out from the wounds like a small stream. The scene was very bloody. However, the blood of a grand perfection god emperor monster was a great nourishment. Even the trees were an exception. The blood of the monster splattered on the trees. It could be seen that the trees were rapidly absorbing the blood. Regarding this, Linley was certain that before long, they would all develop intelligence and become demonic beasts. Seeing this scene, Lin Ray revealed a smile. His eyes were filled with joy and admiration. He wasn't the only one. Even the evil phoenix and the jade-faced Rakshasa felt the same. One had to know that cultivators who could challenge cultivators above their level were the elites of their sections. Moreover, the two of them were fighting against demonic beasts. This made them even more powerful. Ordinary Grand Perfection God Emperor monsters, even Grand Perfection God Emperor cultivators, would not dare to provoke such a powerful monster. Of course, it would be easier if there were 2 or 3 of them. Looking at the other side, Yun Kai's results were even more outstanding. After all, during this period of time, Linley had been paying close attention to her cultivation and battle prowess. As for Chu Ci, Linley had asked him to concoct pills. Thus, prior to this, he had already considered who would emerge victorious. Looks like there's no suspense on Yun Kai's side. The outcome will be revealed soon. That's right. The one called Yun Kai has a strong cultivation base and exquisite battle techniques. Moreover, she has a lot of battle experience. What's even more commendable is her pure cultivation base. Her spiritual energy is very pure. If it wasn't for that, I'm afraid, listening to their analysis, Lin Ray chuckled. His face revealed a proud expression. Nonsense. Don't you know who taught her? If she was still weak, I would have jumped into the river to commit suicide. Lin Ray curled his lips. He could not help but underestimate her. Pang, suddenly, a loud sound rang out. Just as everyone had expected, there was movement on Yun Kai's side. She was currently standing in the air, completely unscathed. Although her face was pale and her clothes were a bit tattered, they were only minor injuries. She had overexerted herself, as well as the consequences of extreme stress. At this moment, in front of Yun Kai, dust was flying everywhere. Countless trees had been crushed by the monster's enormous body. As the dust settled, a huge demonic beast could be seen lying on the ground. Its entire body was riddled with holes, dripping with blood, and even its bones were exposed. It was a horrible sight to behold. Its entire body was covered with sword marks, fist marks, palm marks, and brush marks. Seeing this scene, Lin Ray was stunned and his hair stood on end. He was very glad that his wife was not such a violent person. Otherwise, he would have been miserable. Now that the result is out, there's no need to keep this one alive. With a smile, Lin Ray looked at Chu Ci, who was still bitterly fighting. His figure instantly disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already beside Chu Ci, who had been thrown into the battle. His aura was weak, and his fighting spirit was soaring to the heavens. His body was covered in wounds, and his clothes were torn and tattered by the demonic beasts. Looking at him now, Linley felt the same way. After all, he was just an alchemist, and he hadn't done anything else during this period of time. Looking at him, Lin Ray said, "All right, you can go down first. When you cultivate your Dan stage to the upper class of the Danzong sect, I will teach you an extremely powerful battle technique, Martial God's Test." With that, Lin Ray used his cultivation. Spiritual energy broke out of his body and turned into a giant hand. It gently grabbed Chu Ci, refined him, and put him aside. Staring at the monster, he murmured, "Watch carefully. This is the battle technique I will teach you in the future, Martial God's Test." With that, a long spear with a heaven-piercing pressure appeared. The spear was completely black. On the shaft, 9 dragons were engraved. It looked very cool. At this moment, Lin Rei gave off the feeling of a war god descending. It was a feeling of a sovereign descending upon the world. This caused Chu Ci to be stunned. Old friend, I haven't seen you in a long time. Today, I will let you see some blood. Caressing the primal chaos dragon spear, Lin Rei said gently. In the next second, the originally gentle face of Lin Rei immediately turned as cold as frost. He gave off a feeling that anyone who dared to approach within a radius of 300 meters would die. Looking at the monster, Lin Rei shouted to Chu Ci behind him, "Watch carefully. This is the martial god's test." With that, Lin Rei's spear was placed in front of his chest. His late-stage god emperor cultivation was pushed to the limit. Terrifying ripples of spiritual energy rushed out from his body. Martial god's test, first style absolute kill, the spear was thrown out. Like a long dragon, it rushed in front of the monster in an instant. The momentum of the spear was enough to cause people to be stunned. However, an even more terrifying event occurred. The space around the demon beast started to warp when he utilized the first martial god test. In the end, due to the warping of space, the demon beast's body started to be torn apart bit by bit. The profundity of the martial god's test lay in the word space. Rather than saying that it was a battle technique, it would be better to say that it was a disguised form of space magic. It was just that it was revealed through spear techniques. The space became more and more distorted. After the monster's body was torn apart by the distortion of space, Lin Rei withdrew his cultivation and placed the spear on his back. Dong! With a loud sound, the martial god's test disappeared. The monster that was torn apart fell from the sky and smashed into the ground. Letting out a long sigh, he turned around and looked at Chu Ci, who was staring at him with wide eyes. A hint of a smile appeared on Linley's face, and he said, "What do you think? How was my tactic?" That was simply too cool, too awesome, too cool." Hearing Linley's question, Chu Ci hurriedly came back to her senses, and her face was full of excitement as she spoke. At this moment, he wished he could become a high-grade Grandmaster Alchemist. That way, he would be able to directly practice such a powerful combat technique. If that's the case, then cultivate well in the future. Redouble your efforts in cultivating. As long as you become a high-level Grandmaster Alchemist, I will impart the martial god test to you and refine an acquired supreme treasure for you. Chapter 757. At this moment, Chu Ci had no other emotions other than excitement and agitation. His face was filled with happiness as he walked to Yun Kai's side. He looked at her with a gentle expression and said, "Congratulations, you've received the young master's teachings. When I have time, I'll help you concoct some body-tempering pills so that you can increase your cultivation level even faster. I'll be relying on you to protect me from now on, Kai. Chu Ci's words caused everyone present to roll their eyes in speechlessness. Even Yun Kai was the same. She glared at Chu Ci shyly and said, "Hey, can you not say that? You're a man after all and you're my fiancé. You're asking a weak woman like me to protect you. How can you say that? I'm already so flirtatious." Yun Kai said and turned her face away as though she was unhappy. In the eyes of Lin Rei and the others, the two of them were undoubtedly flirting and showing off their love. Lin Rei brought Yun Kai to Xia Feng's side and signaled her with his eyes. Then, the two of them walked to the side. As for the nearby jade-faced Rakshasa, seeing what Linley and Bibi were doing, he didn't linger any longer, nor did he want to be a third wheel to the two of them. He immediately chased after the two of them. "Look at you." Sensing that Lin Rei and the others had left, anyone with a discerning eye knew what was going on. He immediately picked up Chu Ci and reprimanded him. Seeing that Lin Rei and the others had left and hearing Yun Kai's words, Chu Ci immediately understood and lowered his head as though he had done something wrong. "All right, hurry up and catch up to young master," Yun Kai said to Chu Ci with a helpless smile when she saw her fiancé's reaction. Then, she flew toward the direction where Lin Rei and the others had disappeared. "Hey, wait for me!" Chu Ci shouted anxiously when he saw Yun Kai leaving and immediately chased after her. Not far away, Lin Rei and Xie Feng, who had left, threw the scene with Chu Ci and Yun Kai to the back of their minds and began to discuss how to catch the 8 treasures exquisite pig. "Tell me, what do you think? After all, both of you are from the same prehistoric era." Lin Rei looked at Xie Feng and said. Xie Feng raised her eyebrows and put on a troubled expression as though she didn't know what to say. "TSK. About this," seeing her like this, stammering, and with a troubled expression, Linley immediately frowned and gave up on making things difficult for her. All right. Just wait to catch the 8 treasures exquisite pig. As for how to lure it and where to lure it, leave it to me." Without waiting for the evil phoenix to reply, Linley sent a strand of his divine sense into the system and shouted towards the sky, "System, come out and tell me where to set up the ambush. The Sky Mountain Range is so big, I can't just test it out. I have important things to do. I can't waste my time here." In an instant, there was no sound from the system. Lin Rei became anxious. He was supposed to go to the ancient corpse trove, but now that he had encountered such a situation, he would regret it if he didn't catch the 8 treasures exquisite pig. He did not want to miss out on this opportunity. Furthermore, the 8 treasures exquisite pig's specialty was its ability to hunt for treasures. Although the trip to the ancient corpse vault was dangerous, there should be plenty of treasures there. If he could obtain the 8 treasures exquisite pig's help, then, wouldn't that be like cheating? He could sweep through the entire ancient corpse trove. Moreover, if he could break through to the reverence level, it would be perfect. Of course, this was just an idea. It would be great if it could really be as good as he imagined. After listening for a few minutes, there was still no response from the system. Lin Rei shouted again, "System, hurry up and tell me. Time is precious and it's shameful to waste it. You stinking brat, look at your begging attitude. If it were someone else, I would have killed him," the system said angrily. Hearing this voice, Linley's heart was filled with excitement. He had thought that there would be no reply, just like before. Raising his head to look at the sky, his eyes were filled with anticipation as he said, "System, good system. Quickly tell me where to set up an ambush to capture the 8 treasures exquisite pig. This place is so big, so you will definitely have a way." Sigh. After Linley finished speaking, the system let out a sigh, then slowly said, "I really can't argue with you, kid. If I had known you would be like this, I wouldn't have been so stupid as to tell you about the 8 treasures exquisite pig." Hearing this, Lin Rei was delighted. "Hee, I knew you wouldn't sit back and do nothing." "Che," the system laughed, and then fell silent. Linley did not continue to nag like he had before. Instead, he waited quietly for the system to wake up on its own, and for the system to tell him the location of the ambush. Time passed slowly. At this moment, Xie Feng looked at Lin Rei standing there in a daze. His eyes were glazed over as if he had entered a hazy state. She was already used to this. She had already seen it when she was at 9 Nether Sacred Mountain. She had also seen it a few times after that. She knew that Lin Rei was fine and that was enough. However, it was different for the jade-faced Rakshasa who had caught up. This was her first time meeting Lin Rei. She didn't know if Lin Rei was fine or not. Looking at Lin Rei, the jade-faced Rakshasa looked at Xie Feng and asked worriedly, "Senior, will Daoist Lin be fine?" Hearing this, Xie Feng turned to look at her and smiled. "It's fine. It's common. You don't have to worry too much." "That's right. Young master is a celestial being. How can such a small problem trouble our young master?" "That's right. If the jade-faced Rakshasa is worried, you don't have to worry either." At this moment, Chu Ci and Yun Kai explained. However, Chu Ci's words were laced with flattery. Xie Feng only smiled at Chu Ci's words. she didn't show too much emotion. In the system, Lin Ray was still the same as before. However, his posture was different now. At first, he was standing and waiting. Later, he got tired and sat on the ground. In the end, he was lying on the ground and looking at the sky, waiting for the system's answer. After a few minutes, just as Linley was starting to get impatient, the system finally spoke up. Found it. That's great. The system's words were the answer he had been waiting for. System, please show me the way. I'll go out now. With that, without waiting for the system's response, the strand of consciousness in the system returned to the main body. Okay, in reality, after Lin Ray recovered, he couldn't help but shiver. Then, he looked at Xie Feng with a smile and said, found it. Let's go. Ha. Okay. At this moment, Xie Feng wasn't too surprised because she knew that Lin Ray would definitely find it. However, it was different for jade-faced Rakshasa. She didn't even know what was going on and Lin Ray had found it. Moreover, he hadn't left the same spot. This made her feel as if her brain had short-circuited. Lin Ray didn't notice jade-faced Rakshasa's situation. Of course, even if he did, Lin Ray wouldn't say anything. After all, she was the one who insisted on following him. He didn't ask her to. Walk straight ahead. There's always a path. You know it. Stop when it tells you to stop. At this moment, the system's voice was heard. I've been waiting for you. Lin Ray smiled slightly. Then, he took a step forward and walked quickly. Although he was walking, he was moving at a speed of 1,000 meters with each step. With a single step, his figure had already appeared 1,000 meters away. Furthermore, this was the speed at which he had suppressed his cultivation. With his current cultivation, he could casually teleport tens of thousands of kilometers away. Behind him, Xie Feng and the others didn't dare to be slow and followed closely behind Lin Ray. They didn't want to fall behind. In the blink of an eye, half an hour had passed. After traveling tens of thousands of kilometers, Lin Ray's expectant voice once again sounded out in his mind. Within these tens of thousands of kilometers, they encountered many demonic beasts. However, because time was of the essence, before Chu Xiai and Yun Kai could do anything, Lin Ray dealt with them all. He was so fast that Chu Xiai and Yun Kai were dumbfounded. Their hearts were filled with respect. It's here. The system said calmly. Hearing the system notification, Linley immediately stopped in his tracks and looked around. At this moment, the sound of a stream could be heard from not too far away. Other than the dense forest of towering trees, there were only weeds. There was no path at all. Looking here, Lin Ray nodded and turned to Xie Feng and said, let's stay here. What? Here? The evil phoenix was startled. It scanned its surroundings, but there was nothing special about this place. The evil phoenix was puzzled. Yes, this is the place. Your 8 treasures exquisite pig will take the bait. Ha. At this moment, Lin Ray couldn't help but laugh happily. In his mind, he was imagining the pleasure he would feel after catching the 8 treasures exquisite pig. Demonic phoenix knew Linley very well. Seeing how smug and smirking Linley was right now, it didn't even need to think to know what he was thinking. Tisk, stop dreaming. We haven't caught it yet. We'll talk about it when we catch it. The 8 treasures exquisite pig isn't something you can catch just because you want to. Her words were like a basin of cold water that poured over Lin Ray's head. His smile froze and he rolled his eyes at Xie Feng. He didn't say anything else and went to a nearby tree to wait for Xie Feng to set up the trap for his 8 treasures exquisite pig. Seeing Lin Ray's actions, Chu Xiai and the others followed suit. They went to a tree and adjusted their cultivation and aura to an undetectable level. Sigh, seeing everyone's actions, Xie Feng didn't hesitate. Even at this moment, she was still a little doubtful if this was a suitable place for the 8 treasures exquisite pig. After all, the value of the 8 treasures exquisite pig was something that even a Phoenix clan leader like her coveted. With that thought, Xia Feng reached out and grabbed a blood-red bead that was filled with murderous intent appeared in her hand. Huff, 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 in an instant, with the bead as the center, all life within a 5-meter radius disappeared. It was obliterated by the murderous aura. Hiss, the appearance of this scene caused both Chu Ci and the jade-faced Rakshasa to be shocked. Just by looking at this phenomenon, one could see how terrifying the power and evil nature of this blood fiend pearl was. However, to Xia Feng, it was as if she already knew this would happen. She wasn't surprised at all. She placed the bead on the ground and went to the same tree as Lin Rei. Lin Rei didn't care about this. At this moment, he couldn't care less about Xia Feng. His eyes were fixed on the bead of blood as he waited in anticipation for the arrival of the 8 treasures exquisite pig. Time passed by slowly. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed. During this day, there were some demonic beasts in the surroundings. However, when they felt the baleful blood chi in the baleful blood pearl, they were all shocked and immediately fled. Seeing this, Lin Rei chuckled and calmed down. At the very least, only the 8 treasures exquisite pig could do this. Just like that, another 3 days passed. In these few days, Lin Rei and the others who had been waiting for the 8 treasures exquisite pig were puzzled. They began to doubt whether this was the place where they could catch the Class 8 exquisite pig. Just as they were about to give up and search for a new location, the faint sound of a pig's cry suddenly sounded in Lin Rei's ears. Damn, don't tell me it's here. If Lin Rei could hear it, so could Xia Feng. TSK, I think it's possible. The two of them looked at each other but didn't dare to release their divine senses. After all, the 8 treasures exquisite pig was a divine creature. They didn't dare to release their divine senses casually. If they were alarmed, it would be even more difficult to find it. 5 pairs of eyes stared at the bead of blood with anticipation. They didn't dare to look away for even a moment. Slowly, the cries of the pig got closer and closer. Not long after, a pig twice the size of a soccer ball appeared. However, unlike an ordinary pig, this pig was blood-red and very beautiful. Looking at the pig, Lin Rei's eyelids twitched and his mouth twitched. He asked Xia Feng telepathically, This is the 8 treasures exquisite pig? Why does it look a little strange? Hearing Lin Rei's question, Xia Feng looked at Lin Rei with an, I don't know, expression. At this moment, Lin Rei was completely speechless. However, since it was already here, he couldn't let it go. With that thought, he prepared to attack. Young one, hurry up and come out. Do you think your grandpa pig can't sense you if you hide in the dark? Suddenly, Lin Rei, who was about to attack, frowned in shock when he heard that. He opened his mouth wide enough to swallow a few eggs. At this moment, there was no doubt that the blood-red pig was speaking in human language. Furthermore, it was calling him Grandpa Pig. Chapter 758. As expected, you really are a creature from the desolate era. I even suppressed my aura completely, but I still couldn't hide it from you. Linley, who was on the tree, said in shame. Lin Rei wasn't curious at all about the pig's ability to speak. After all, it was a creature from the desolate era. Even if it couldn't be more ordinary, as long as it reached the divine monarch realm, it would be able to speak. At the mid-divine emperor realm, it would be able to take human form. Having said that, Lin Rei flashed down from the tree and appeared in front of the pig. Looking at Linley, the 8 treasures exquisite pig was a little surprised. After all, it had been a long, long time since anyone had mentioned the 8 treasures exquisite pig. It had almost forgotten that it was a creature from the desolate era, a supreme creature of the 8 treasures exquisite dragon race. Looking at Linley, the 8 treasures exquisite boar grew interested. Kid, tell me. How did you know that I was here in the levitating mountain range? In addition, how did you know that I was from the 8 treasures exquisite boar race? Also, why did you use the baleful blood pearl to lure me out? With that, the pig took a few steps back and became vigilant. It was proud of its immunity to magic and even more so of its powerful body. However, if the other party could do this, he must have a perfect plan. As the saying goes, it's better to be safe than sorry. It's better to be safe than sorry. It's better to be safe than sorry. Wow, what should I say? Hearing the 8 treasures exquisite boar's question, for a moment, Linley was worried. Tisk, cut the crap. Tell me one thing at a time. The 8 treasures exquisite pig retorted, not giving Linley any face at all. Lin Ray, however, even if the pig didn't say it, Lin Ray would have said it anyway. After all, he really couldn't do anything about the invincible constitution of the 8 treasures exquisite dragon race. It wasn't just him, the system couldn't do anything about Xia Feng either. The existence of the 8 treasures exquisite dragon race was the loophole of this world. It could be said that they were born with a cheat. TSK, actually, I didn't know you were here either. However, I once read a travel book that mentioned the activity of your 8 treasures exquisite dragon pig. As for how I found out about your race, it goes without saying. I also learned about it from the travel book. At this point, Linley listened a bit longer, because he was afraid that if he asked the final question, the 8 treasures exquisite pig would immediately leave. By then, he would have lost the pearl of baleful blood for nothing. In the end, both the woman and the money would be lost. The gains didn't make up for the losses. Linley didn't really want to continue this losing business. Why aren't you talking? What about the last question? The pig urged. Oh. As he thought about it, he said to the 8 treasures exquisite pig, I can provide you with resources to help you increase your strength. Just like what I said before, you can become a guest elder of my Xian sect and help me search for treasures. I'll give you pills every day to help you increase your cultivation base and body refinement pills. Of course, if my alchemy skills increase, I'll help you solve all sorts of problems that you can't solve. What do you say? At that moment, Lin Ray had completely thrown everything out. After all, this was the 8 treasures exquisite pig. He didn't want to miss out on this opportunity. He couldn't afford to miss it. Of course, he knew that the 8 treasures exquisite pig wouldn't believe him. Therefore, he took out the 9 revolutions mixed essence pill and placed it in front of the pig for him to admire. How is it? Is this enough to move you? As long as you agree, I'll give you this every day, just like Xia Feng. With that, Lin Ray looked at Xia Feng with pleading eyes. Yes, I'll have pills every day to increase my cultivation level and strengthen it. With that, Xia Feng bent down and reached out to take the pill from Lin Ray's hand. Then, under everyone's watchful eyes, she popped the pill into her mouth. And then, a satisfied smile appeared on his face. He turned to look at Linley, as though saying, "This is what you wanted me to say." Linley's forehead was covered with sweat when he saw the evil phoenix's gaze. He was filled with helplessness. However, as long as it was effective and the 8 treasures exquisite pig agreed to his request, he was willing to pay more than 10 of these pills. Of course, he had to have the ingredients to refine the 9 revolutions mixed essence pill. Otherwise, there was nothing to talk about. TSK, looking at the pill, the 8 treasures exquisite pig's heart burned. As a treasure hunting pig, he naturally knew how precious this pill was. Furthermore, he sensed a special temptation from the pill. The temptation and familiarity came from the depths of his soul, which made him feel conflicted. He wanted to agree, but, at this moment, Lin Ray, Xia Feng, and Chu Xi on the tree fixed their gazes on the 8 treasures exquisite pig. They were waiting for an answer. They were waiting for the 8 treasures exquisite pig to say, "I agree." Time passed slowly. Lin Ray and the rest weren't in a hurry. "I'm not afraid of trouble. After all, this is a treasure in front of me." In ancient times, there was a saying that someone would visit Zhuge 3 times in a thatched cottage. Today, Linley was quietly waiting for a pig to agree. During this process, in order to get the 8 treasures exquisite pig to agree, Linley endured his heartache and once more took out a few more mixed energy pills of the 9 revolutions, then gave them to the evil phoenix for her to consume. This was to entice the 8 treasures exquisite pig to agree. Lin Ray didn't care about the price. In the blink of an eye, a day passed. Everyone waited quietly for the 8 treasures exquisite pig's reply. During the process, Lin Ray didn't even dare to blink. I agree. I will be the guest elder of your sect and help you search for treasures. The 8 treasures exquisite pig's voice broke the silence. What? You agree? Lin Ray was shocked. However, in order to prove that he wasn't hallucinating, he quickly asked again. Yes, I agree. However, you have to do as you said. Give me the pills and serve me well. The 8 treasures exquisite pig bent over and sat on the ground as though he was the boss. All right, whatever you say. Lin Ray agreed to the 8 treasures exquisite pig's request without hesitation. After all, with the pig around, there was no need to worry about treasures. After saying that, Linley took out a 9 revolutions mixed yuan pill from his storage ring and handed it to the 8 treasures exquisite pig, fulfilling his earlier request. Hee hee. Looking at the pill, the 8 treasures exquisite pig chuckled. It stuck out its tongue and swallowed the pill. Delicious. As expected of a 9 revolutions mixed essence pill. At this moment, the 8 treasures exquisite pig's face revealed a smile that made everyone want to beat him up. Lin Ray didn't turn around. He looked at Chu Xiai on the tree behind him and said, Go and hunt a late-stage Emperor Realm beast. We'll leave after we're done eating. Yes, your subordinate obeys. Chu Xiai, upon hearing Linley's order, acknowledged it, and then left with a flash. Phew, Linley's entire body relaxed. Letting out a long breath, he sat down on the ground. Looking at the 8 treasures exquisite pig, he asked curiously, what's your name? You can't keep calling me 8 treasures exquisite pig, right? That's what I thought too. Xia Feng chimed in after hearing Lin Ray's words. The 8 treasures exquisite pig nodded and said, My name is 8 treasures. I'm over 3,600 years old this year. According to the Eldritch era, I should still be a child. What? A child? Lin Ray was stunned. 3,600 years old? That's still considered a child to him. That's right. During the Eldritch era, anyone would go into seclusion for 8 to 10,000 years. Some would even go into seclusion for 10,000 years. Take the Pai Xiao for example. Other than eating, all they do is sleep. Once they're full, they won't wake up for millions of years. However, there's one good thing about them. They can eat and sleep and increase their cultivation. Xia Feng said slowly. Oh, that's true. As he spoke, Linley scratched his head awkwardly. However, when he thought of the Pishio, Linley's mind moved and he instantly released it from the system. Boom. A loud sound rang out, accompanied by the sound of dust and the shattering of trees. Awoo. 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 At that moment, the appearance of the Pishio caused a desolate aura to spread out from its body. At that moment, the roars of beasts within a radius of 50 kilometers could be heard. From their voices, it could be heard that they were trembling in fear. F*CK, it's the Pai Xiao. 8th baby said in shock. 8th baby's heart was hit hard. He didn't expect that there would be a creature from the Eldritch era beside this human. Moreover, it's a high-level existence. The Eldritch clan? 8th baby stared at the Pai Xiao. At the same time, the Pai Xiao also noticed 8th baby. Suddenly, its eyes widened in surprise. That's right. Grandpa Pig is 8th baby of the Eldritch clan. 8th baby said proudly after hearing the Pai Xiao's words. It's very interesting. Originally, the Eldritch clan was exterminated during the Eldritch era. I didn't expect it to survive until now. It's not simple. Eighth Baby's praise was completely different from what he thought. Originally, Eighth Baby thought that the pie show would be surprised and praise it. He didn't expect it to be so indifferent. Regarding this, the pie show did not pay attention to the 8 treasures. Instead, his gaze fell on Linley. With a slightly imploring gaze, he said, "I've told you the news. Next time when you call me out, can you take care of me first so that I can be mentally prepared? Look at the mess you've made here." Then, the pie show's huge body began to thin and weak with dissatisfaction. Finally, to Lin Ray's surprise, the pie show shrank its body to the same size as Eighth Baby. At this moment, the pie show didn't have the air of a king. Instead, it looked a lot cuter. "Little guy, I heard that your clan has the ability to find heavenly treasures. Take me to find them." Chapter 759. Lin Ray was speechless. "That's right, Eighth Baby. Hurry up and bring us to see if there are any heavenly treasures. Since we're heading to the ancient corpse trove, let's take a look along the way. Who knows, we might be able to find something good." Xia Feng smiled. "Yes, I agree." Jade-faced Rakshasa also said, her face full of excitement. Seeing how excited they were, a smile appeared on Linley's face. He said calmly, "All right, let's leave after we finish eating." "Okay, I want to see the abilities of the 8 treasures exquisite dragon tribe and see if they're as amazing as the legends say." Everyone agreed with this idea. They didn't care whether Eighth Bao agreed or not. They didn't even give it a chance to speak. Eighth Baby was very helpless about this, but it had promised Lin Ray before, so it didn't say anything. It turned around and began to play with the blood pearl. A short while later, Chu Ci returned, bringing with her an enormous divine-level monstrous beast. For the sake of rewarding the 8 treasures, Linley personally took action, using his mirage bloodfire and various precious pills. Soon, the monstrous beast was completely cooked. Everyone divided the food and began to eat. Among them, the Pishio took the lead, followed by the 8 treasures, the evil phoenix, and the others. Everyone ate happily. This was especially true for Eighth Baby. At this moment, he was the happiest. His entire pig mouth was covered in golden oil, and his face was filled with a smile of enjoyment. In the past, it wouldn't have been able to eat such things. After all, it was in the form of a pig and couldn't appear in front of humans, but now, there was someone roasting meat for it. At this moment, it felt that it was worth it to join Lin Ray. Not only could it eat treasures, but it could also consume spirit medicines. It didn't have to worry about its safety, and it could taste things that it wanted to taste but didn't care about in the past. Looking at everyone's smiles, Lin Ray also smiled. After all, in the cruel world of cultivation, how many true friends could there be? 8 or 9 out of 10 of them did it for benefits, status, power, reputation, and wealth. Apart from those who truly appeared when their friends were in trouble, the rest could not escape from greed, anger, and infatuation. Lin Ray looked at the people in front of him. Of course, other than the jade-faced Rakshasa, he did not let his guard down. He did not treat her as a friend. After all, she had her own goals. The meal was quickly finished with everyone's enjoyment. It had to be said that the demonic beast roasted by Lin Ray was truly a delicacy of the mortal world. As the saying goes, this kind of meat should only exist in the heavens. It was rare to taste it in the mortal world. In particular, Lin Ray had added top-grade venerable grade pills into the roasted meat with seasoning. Only Lin Ray could use such a luxurious method. If this had happened to someone else, that person would have gone bankrupt long ago. Lin Ray touched the oil on his robe and looked at the satisfied smiles on everyone's faces. He asked, "Are you full?" "TSK, I have to say, Lin Ray, your roasted meat is simply too delicious. If only I had met you earlier. That way, I wouldn't have to eat those tasteless treasures that only increase my cultivation every day." At this moment, 8th Baobao's face was filled with disdain. Hearing 8th Baobao's words, everyone had the urge to go up and beat him up. One must know that every single one of them had risked their lives for the sake of obtaining cultivation resources. Yet now, such words had come from the mouth of a pig. This caused them to have the urge to kill themselves. You bastard, you're still acting like you're the victim after getting such a good deal. At this moment, Xia Feng couldn't help but retort. Okay. At this moment, looking at the strange atmosphere, Lin Rei quickly stepped forward and said, let's hurry up. There's still some distance before we reach the ancient corpse trove. Besides, there's still some time before the ancient corpse trove opens, so we still have some time to search for treasures. Saying that, Lin Rei looked at 8th Baobao with a scorching gaze and said, let's go, my little ancestor. Since you've eaten mine, let me see your treasure hunting skills. Yes, this is the right time. Hearing Lin Rei's words, everyone looked at 8th Baobao with the same gaze. Looking at the expectant and scorching gazes of the people, 8th Baobao quickly patted his chest and put on an "I'm awesome" look. His face was filled with pride. Today, I'll show you the skills of the 8 Treasures Exquisite Clan. My treasure hunting skills. Then, under everyone's gaze, 8th Baobao lowered his head and in the next moment, everyone was defeated. 8th Baobao lowered his head and began to sniff like a dog. Linley. Yes, right? I'll take you to search for treasures. 8th Baobao lowered his head and sniffed while waving his front trotters at everyone. This scene made everyone's jaws drop. Their faces were filled with astonishment. At this moment, they thought that they were hallucinating and were unwilling to believe that the scene before them was real. Time passed slowly. At this moment, everyone felt as if time had slowed down while they were still in a daze. And Lin Rei, seeing 8th Baobao's reaction, regretted it even more and had the urge to turn back time and choose again. At this moment, Xia Feng was the first to come back to her senses. Looking at 8th Baobao walking away, she couldn't help but growl, damn, it's playing. Damn it, what's going on? This. At this moment, under Xia Feng's growl, the Pai Xiu also came back to his senses. Just like Xia Feng, although he had never seen the treasure hunting skills of the 8 Treasures Exquisite Clan, he never imagined that the 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig in front of him would use his nose to sniff. Sigh. At this moment, Lin Rei came back to his senses. Hearing the two's words, the corners of his mouth twitched slightly and he looked helpless. What else can we do? Since we've trusted him and let him be the guest elder of our sect, we can't go back on our words. But now, I just hope that he can find some treasures so that my pills won't go to waste. Yeah, that's all we can do now. Yeah. At this moment, everyone agreed with Lin Rei's words. After all, there was no choice for them to regret now. The only choice was to continue following 8th Baobao. With that thought in mind, Lin Rei took a step forward and came behind 8th Baobao in an instant, walking side by side with him. Ugh! Seeing Linley's actions, everyone let out a collective sigh, then followed him. Time slowly passed as Lin Rei followed 8th Baobao to search for treasures. In the blink of an eye, 15 days had passed. In the past 15 days, Zhu Baobao hadn't found a single decent treasure. What he found were all grasses that no one was interested in. Even he himself was disgusted with them. Although there was a little bit of spiritual qi in them, 8th Baobao had found grass that was completely useless to them. At this time, the ancient corpse trove was about 100,000 miles away. At this moment, Lin Rei and the others arrived at the top of a mountain. Looking at the surrounding mountains and the green sea of trees, everyone looked listless as if they were very tired. Sigh. I say, 8th Baobao, can you do it or not? It's been more than 10 days. Other than finding some small things, what else can you do? At this moment, I'm even worried that you're a fake primitive creature. At this moment, looking at 8th Baobao walking in front, Lin Rei couldn't help but ask. In the past 10 days, he had wanted to ask many times, but in the end, he held back. But now, if he didn't ask, he would suffocate to death. Yeah. Little guy, look at me. In order to find the heavenly treasure with you, look at me. I'm so tired that I'm about to collapse. At the side, the small and round Pichio said helplessly. Xie Feng was speechless. Looking at the Pichio, Xie Feng was speechless and helpless. Then, she rolled her eyes at him and let him experience it himself. Ha! Eighth Bao Bao, who was now at the top of the mountain, heard the wails and dissatisfaction of the people behind him and suddenly laughed. Huh! Hearing Eighth Bao Bao's laughter, everyone was puzzled. Turning around and looking at Lin Rei and the others, Eighth Bao Bao said with a smile, "That's enough. You just want the heavenly treasure, right?" "That's right. Can you tell me where it is?" Evil Phoenix hurriedly asked. Everyone nodded heavily and locked their eyes on Eighth Bao Bao, hoping that the news he brought was true. Looking at everyone's expectant eyes, Eighth Bao Bao said, "Along the way, the reason why I didn't tell you about the existence of the heavenly treasure is because it's nothing." Because it's nothing, but, Eighth Bao Bao's, but caused everyone's imagination to run wild. Some thought of good things, some thought of bad things. Under everyone's gaze, Eighth Bao Bao said without any hesitation, "That's right. Today is different. Under our feet is a supreme-grade divine crystal mine. The mine is so big that I've never seen it before." "What? Supreme-grade divine crystal?" At this moment, everyone was shocked. In the divine world, spirit stones were no longer useful. However, there was a unique mineral in the divine world, and that was the divine crystal that Eighth Bao Bao was talking about. Just like spirit stones in the immortal world, divine crystals were divided into low, medium, high, and supreme grade. This time, it was divided from small to large. Low-grade divine crystals had too many impurities, and the energy that could be absorbed from them was too little. On the other hand, supreme-grade divine crystals had no impurities at all. Supreme-grade divine crystals were only seen in the divine world. Supreme-grade divine crystals were very rare. This was something that everyone was well aware of. But now, Eighth Bao Bao was telling Lin Rei that there was a supreme-grade divine crystal mine under their feet. Moreover, it was a huge one that even Eighth Bao Bao had never seen before. As the saying went, poverty limits one's imagination. At this moment, everyone could not imagine how big the mine was under their feet. Hee. When Eighth Treasure saw that everyone was looking at him suspiciously, he smiled faintly, and didn't get angry. After all, he and the 8 Treasure Sprite folk had no idea how to find treasures. Looking at everyone's shocked and suspicious gazes, Eighth Bao Bao turned around and ignored them. Then, the smile in his eyes disappeared. In the next second, it was replaced with an incomparably sharp gaze. "Be careful," Eighth Bao Bao warned. Huh? Everyone did not understand what Eighth Bao Bao was referring to. However, in the next moment, everyone understood. Bam, Kacha, in the next moment, Eighth Bao Bao lifted his 2 front trotters and stomped on the mountain under his feet. Immediately, a rumbling sound, accompanied by the sound of shattering, entered everyone's ears. Rumble, rumble, in the next moment, without waiting for everyone to react, the entire towering mountain started to crack under Eighth Bao Bao's stomp. Then, it started to shake. F***ck, feeling the mountain shaking and collapsing, everyone came back to their senses. Without caring about anything else, they leaped into the sky and stood proudly in the air. Seeing the mountain slowly disintegrate under the 8 treasures' stomps, the crowd was shocked and their hearts were filled with shock. Even Chu Ci would not be a match for Eighth Bao Bao. Moreover, what shocked everyone even more was that when Eighth Bao Bao attacked, no one noticed it at all. They did not even feel any divine energy flowing through Eighth Bao Bao's body. From this, they could deduce that Eighth Bao Bao did not use any divine energy to stomp on the ground. He only used his powerful physical body. Not simple. Xie Feng exclaimed. Yes. I've long heard that the 8 treasures exquisite dragon tribe has powerful physical bodies. I've never seen it before. Now that I've seen it, it really lives up to its reputation. Pai Xiu said. Hearing the words of the two, Linley's heart was filled with amazement. He even had the urge to charge forward and engage in a battle. Linley also cultivated his physical body. Just now, 8th baby stomp had caused the mountain to collapse. To Linley, this was something he could easily do. But now, he had not encountered a body as strong as 8th baby's in a long time. The desire to fight that had been hidden in his heart was suddenly ignited. It's over. This guy. Xia Feng, who was standing next to Lin Rei, felt Lin Rei's desire to fight. She immediately looked helpless. She knew that 8th Bao Bao's move had moved Lin Rei. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just as Linley's fighting spirit was about to erupt, a gust of wind suddenly rushed out from the crack in the mountain. However, unlike other gusts of wind, the gust of wind that blew out from the crack was accompanied by an extremely dense spiritual energy that shocked even Linley. At this moment, all thoughts of battle and the rising desire to do battle were thrown to the back of Linley's mind when he sensed the dense and pure spiritual energy around him. Sensing the spiritual energy pouring out of the crack, Lin Rei was convinced that 8th Bao Bao really was a member of the 8 treasures exquisite dragon tribe. He was even more convinced of 8th Bao Bao's treasure hunting skills. The supreme grade god crystal mine is real. Chapter 760. As soon as Lin Rei said that, everyone present revealed happy and excited smiles. After all, they could improve their cultivation with the supreme grade divine crystals. Even Lin Rei was excited. After all, he was only a late-stage god emperor now, and the energy he needed to break through by one level was 10 to 20 times that of ordinary people. If he wanted to break through to the ultimate god realm, the energy he needed could be imagined. Although he saw the supreme grade divine crystals, Lin Rei was still slightly worried that these divine crystals would not be enough for him to break through to the ultimate god realm. Moreover, this divine crystal mine did not belong to him alone. There were also Chu Xi, Yun Kai, Pai Xiu, Ba Bao, Xia Feng, and the independent jade-faced Rakshasa. Thinking of this, Lin Rei felt a pain in his heart. After all, this was the first time he saw so many supreme-grade divine crystals. With these divine crystals, I will be able to break through the shackles of the ultimate god realm and ascend to the saint realm. At that time, I will be able to roam freely in the universe. At this moment, the Pai Xiu whispered with an excited and arrogant smile. You? I think you'll be able to find a large hole and sleep in it for 1,000,000 years. The evil phoenix did not give the Pai Xiu any face at all and directly retorted back at the evil phoenix. Hearing the evil phoenix's words, although the Pai Xiu was furious, he knew the evil phoenix's cultivation and strength. After saying, he fell silent. Only his bell-sized eyes stared fiercely at Xia Feng, as if he could not beat her, he would stare her to death. Linley laughed mockingly at the two of them. However, Linley was already used to their behavior. After all, they were both living beings from the primordial era. Neither of them was willing to submit to the other. They both felt that their bloodlines were noble and inviolable. That's enough. Finally, Lin Rei couldn't take it anymore and spoke up to stop them. Looking at them, Linley had a smile on his face. Acting like a peacemaker, he tried to persuade them. I say, can the two of you stop quarreling for a moment? Can you let me have some peace and quiet for a moment? Besides, Pai Xiu, you too. Let's not talk about roaming first. Let's just talk about this mineral vein. With that, Lin Rei pointed at 8th Bao and said, 8th Bao was the one who found this mine. No matter what, he should get it first, right? Yes, that makes sense. At this moment, when she heard Lin Rei's words, Xia Feng hurriedly changed the topic. However, the blade on the tip of the spear had been smoothed out, and her tone was much gentler. TSK, green foxtail. Looking at Xia Feng's current state, Pai Xiu rolled its eyes. After muttering to itself, it didn't say anything else and retreated to the side. Looking at Lin Rei and the others and listening to their previous conversation, Eighth Bao completely let go of his arrogance at this moment. He looked at Lin Rei and said, "All right, I don't want these divine crystals. As long as you can give me some 9 revolution mixed yuan pills, it'll be fine. Moreover, these divine crystals are useless to me." Lin Rei was stunned when he heard Eighth Bao's request. His heart ached for no other reason than the fact that he wanted to give more 9 revolution mixed yuan pills. The 9 revolution mixed yuan pills weren't ordinary pills. Every time he refined a cauldron of pills, he would have to put in a lot of effort. In addition, Lin Li had plenty of primal chaos energy to refine the 9 revolutions mixed yuan pill. But the other ingredients, such as the 9 heavens primal yang fruit and the 6 revolutions spirit cloud fruit, were all rare treasures of the god realm. Lin Li didn't have much left in his storage ring. Okay. Even so, Lin Rei still agreed. After all, this was the condition that he proposed to Eighth Bao. Now that he thought about it, he really wanted to slap himself a few times. "Alright, since that's the case, you guys can go ahead and mine. I'll stay here and you guys will be fine." Seeing that Lin Rei had agreed, Eighth Bao walked to the side with a smile. He found a comfortable rock and laid down on it. He closed his charming little eyes and fell silent. Everyone was speechless when they saw Eighth Bao's actions. However, they didn't say anything. After all, Eighth Bao had found a top quality or vein. Chu Ci, Yu and Yun Kai will be in a group of 2. I and Xie Feng will be in a group. As for the jade-faced Rakshasa, Yu and Pai Xiu will be in a group. Each of the 3 groups will go in a direction. As for the rest, we'll wait until the first group finishes digging. Then, Lin Rei looked at everyone and said in a deep voice, "After we're done, we'll discuss how to distribute the divine crystals. Do you understand?" "Yes, I agree." Pai Xiu said. "Yes, I agree." Xie Feng said. Agreed. Everyone hurriedly nodded, and a smile appeared on Lin Li's face. "Alright, since everyone agrees, then." Just as everyone was about to start digging, Lin Rei suddenly stopped talking. Then, his eyes were filled with killing intent as he looked into the distance. His body instantly tensed up and entered battle mode. Chong! The sound of a gun rang in everyone's ears. At this moment, Lin Rei's primal chaos dragon spear naturally appeared in Lin Rei's hand. At this moment, Lin Rei fully released his late-stage God Emperor cultivation and circulated it to the extreme. At this moment, he was just short of activating his combat technique. Feeling Lin Rei's strange movements at this moment, coupled with his gloomy face and the killing intent in his eyes, everyone knew that trouble was coming. Although they didn't feel that someone was coming, everyone trusted Lin Rei's perception. "Can you do it? I feel that that person's cultivation is stronger than yours. Do you want to?" Hearing Xie Feng's words, Lin Rei didn't wait for her to finish speaking and hurriedly stopped her. "Although that person's cultivation is stronger than mine, I'm not someone to be trifled with." Saying that, Lin Rei's face revealed a ruthless expression. "You all go down first. Leave that person to me. I'll deal with him." Without turning his head, he looked into the distance and pointed at the crack on the mountain peak. "This. All right." Demonic Phoenix had been about to say something, but when she saw the stubborn look on Lin Li's face, she knew that Lin Li had already made his decision. No matter what anyone said, it was useless. In the end, she could only nod in agreement. "Let's go." Saying that, he looked at Lin Rei again and gave him a look to be careful. Then, he led Chu Ci and the others and jumped into the crack. "Come. It's been a long time since I've had a good battle. Don't let me down this time." At this moment, an unparalleled desire to do battle surged out of his body. Lin Li had been waiting for this moment for far too long. Wang, feeling Lin Rei's battle intent, the Chaos Dragon spear trembled violently as if it was excited. "Heh, I know you're excited. You'd better put on a good show later." Saying that, a small black dot appeared in the distance. The black dot moved faster and faster, and the black dot grew bigger and bigger. Finally, the shadow of a person appeared. At this moment, the young man who was flying suddenly felt an unparalleled battle intent. He immediately raised his head and saw a young man about the same age as him standing on top of a mountain with a long spear in his hand. Seeing that the young man was looking at him, the young man was stunned and puzzled. However, at this moment, a sense of danger surged in his heart and spread throughout his body. He hadn't felt this kind of danger in a long time. Sensing danger, the youngster summoned out his weapon just in case. A spear similar to Linley's appeared in the youngster's hand and he secretly circulated his cultivation base. Seeing the young man's action, Lin Ray smiled and flew into the sky. Standing proudly in the air, he looked at the young man who was getting closer and closer to him. Lin Ray said, "Quickly retreat. Hurry up and get out of here. Otherwise, the spear in your father's hands will have no eyes." At this moment, Linley's ruffian aura was completely exposed. Hearing this, the young man's face froze and he was unhappy. However, he was also puzzled. He didn't understand why the young man in front of him, whom he had met by chance, would react in such a manner. "I don't know why you want me to retreat. You're not going to retreat?" Before the young man could finish his sentence, Lin Ray spoke in a forceful tone. Seeing that the young man in front of him had interrupted him, the young man felt aggrieved. However, he was still a young man and he was full of vigor. When he heard the young man's words, his competitive spirit exploded and he couldn't control it. "I'm not going to retreat." Hearing this, Lin Ray didn't waste any more time. He placed the long spear in front of his chest and a murderous aura burst out from his body. "Good." Seeing the young man acting like this, Lin Ray's expression was as cold as frost. He said coldly, "Since that's the case, let's not talk any more nonsense. Let's fight." That's exactly what I want." At this moment, a great battle was about to break out. The aura of the two had reached a certain point and was about to explode. Silent Thunder Spear Art, First Style, Thunder, Dragon Subduing Step, Instant. At this moment, the two great combat techniques were used. Lin Ray's body disappeared from his original position. He brought along a majestic pressure and aura. In addition to the thunder force brought by the Silent Thunder Spear Art and Lin Ray's lightning attributed spiritual roots, this attack could kill even a middle-stage god emperor. Although Lin Ray learned these two combat techniques later in the mortal world, Lin Ray had cultivated the profound meaning of these two combat techniques. They were comparable to the bombardment of deity-grade combat techniques. Profound meaning was the ultimate goal of a combat technique. Usually, every combat technique would have its own profound meaning. However, most people would only cultivate it to the great circle of perfection. Some people would study it hard and cultivate it to the true meaning. For people like Lin Ray, who could cultivate a profound meaning of a combat technique, it was already rare. Spear Art of 10,000 Armies, Profound Meaning, One Spear Breaks Armies. At this moment, looking at Lin Ray's huge killing intent and murderous aura, the young man didn't care anymore. Immediately, he used the Spear Art of 10,000 Armies and rushed toward Lin Ray. At this moment, the two of them looked like they were going to fight to the death. 8th Bao Bao, who was originally planning to sleep, suddenly became interested. His sleepiness gradually disappeared. His two charming little eyes were wide open. Together with his pig-like appearance, he was very cute. Pung! The two of them were like meteors. With a fleeting speed, they collided in an instant. Immediately, a terrifying shockwave spread out in all directions with the two of them as the center. Damn! What's going on? At this moment, 8th Baby, who had been watching the show, felt the terrifying shockwaves from the shockwaves, and its expression froze. It didn't even think about it before jumping into the crack. Before it left, it didn't forget to mutter something. Regarding this, the two of them didn't pay any attention to 8th Bao Bao. At this moment, the two of them collided. Neither of them was able to push the other back. They were evenly matched. Looking at the young man in front of him, Lin Rei was shocked. He knew his own strength. Although he didn't look at him first, now that they were fighting, Lin Rei couldn't help but be shocked by his cultivation and strength. At this moment, the young man looked at Lin Rei and was also shocked. I really didn't expect to meet such a strong opponent this time. He's much stronger than those ants I've met before. I just don't know who is stronger between the two of us. Star finger, profound, star-breaking finger. Just as the two of them were trying to figure out each other's strength, Linley suddenly regained his senses. One of his hands shot out, and instantly, the astral finger was executed. Linley's two fingers instantly turned blood-red, and like a blood-red spear, he viciously stabbed towards the heart of the young man. Flowing light fist profound. Feeling the strong killing intent, the young man didn't want to be outdone. He sent out a hand. His palm turned into a fist and the flowing light fist profound was instantly activated. He attacked Lin Rei's sword finger. Peng, whoosh, whoosh, the two of them collided again. This time, the two of them didn't confront each other like before. Instead, they both retreated a dozen steps. Dang dang dang, dang dang dang. Feeling his body retreating, Lin Rei quickly used his cultivation to forcefully stop his body from retreating. Stopping his body, Lin Rei looked at the young man who stopped and looked at him. This kind of carefree feeling didn't wash away at all. Phew, I haven't fought like this for a long time. I didn't expect this guy to have cultivated profound. He's really not simple. What sort of power is this, for it to be able to raise such a talent? Looking at him, Linley's heart was filled with compassion, and he wanted to take him under his wing. Looking at him, Lin Rei said, I admire you. Your strength is the strongest I've seen in the God realm so far. However, I don't know if you can take this move of mine. Oh. Hearing this, the young man's interest was piqued. His body involuntarily went into defense. Martial God Stratagem, First Space Ultimate Strike. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't waste any time talking. He directly used his most powerful battle technique, Martial God Stratagem, First Space Ultimate Strike. Lin Rei instantly threw out the long spear. At this moment, the Martial God Stratagem was activated. Lin Rei's body mysteriously disappeared from the spot. Seeing Linley's figure disappear, the man's eyebrows furrowed together, and a solemn expression appeared on his face. Chapter 761. After the battle, the two of them shared their feelings and reported their names. Where did he go? In the instant that Linley disappeared, the man's heart was filled with a sense of danger. This was a feeling he had only ever felt from his own master. At this moment, the man had to be careful. He did not want to be defeated here. After all, he was a young man full of vigor. It was inevitable for him to be competitive. Now that he had met a young man of his age, he did not have to think about losing. Emperor's eyes, open. Suddenly, the young man shouted explosively. His originally clear eyes suddenly changed, becoming extremely terrifying. A monarch's chi rushed out and swept through the surroundings. The Emperor's eyes was one of the most powerful bloodlines in the world. His eyes could emit a majestic aura and break through all illusions. But now, the young man who had activated the Emperor's eyes frowned even more. He thought that he could find Lin Rei by using his eye technique. But now, he was wrong. He was very wrong. At this moment, not only did he not find Lin Rei's disappearance, but the sense of danger became even stronger. It was as if a long spear would rush out from the surroundings and pin him in the air. At this moment, he, who had never felt death, seemed to see the beautiful death god smiling and waving at him. Suddenly, the young man was on high alert. A long spear rushed from behind and a strong murderous aura rushed towards his back. Space strangulation. Lin Ray's voice resounded. At this moment, the space within 100 meters was under the control of Lin Ray's martial god. It began to compress the space. During the prehistoric era, there was a legend that said time was king and space was emperor. Those who had one of them could dominate the prehistoric era. Right now, Linley's battle technique allowed him to control space. Although it was only a small area, this still caused the young man to be shocked. The whole process did not take more than 5 breaths. The young man was a little confused by the speed. He only sensed Lin Ray's long spear after it arrived. However, it was already too late. Even so, the young man still used all his strength to dodge to the side. Pooh! Although the young man narrowly dodged the attack, his arm was still cut open by the sudden attack of the long spear. Blood flowed out as if it didn't cost money. Phew, that was close. At the side, the young man who had dodged the attack felt a lingering fear in his heart. Looking at the wound on his arm, he felt his heart palpitate. If he had been a breath later, just a breath later, his life would have been completely lost here. At the same time, the young man was starting to reevaluate Lin Ray. He knew that the young man before him was no ordinary person. Just the battle technique that he had used earlier had already surpassed the cultivation techniques of the sects in the firmament. Looking at Lin Ray, the young man's calmness changed. His monarch eyes were filled with respect for Lin Ray. This kind of respect was for his opponent. Seeing the change in the young man's eyes, Lin Ray retrieved his gaze that was originally filled with killing intent. At this moment, he knew that the young man before him had no intention of tangling with him. Perhaps, he was mistaken. However, seeing the respect in the young man's eyes for his opponent, Lin Ray knew that this was no longer a battle of life and death. Instead, it was a friendly spar between friends. Looking at him, Lin Ray asked for the young man's name. Thinking about it carefully, the young man didn't seem to have said anything earlier. It was all because of his first impression. Stopping his attack, he instantly retrieved his killing intent. With a gentler expression, he asked the young man, "May I ask what is your name?" "My name is Jia Yang." Seeing Lin Ray's sudden change, Jia Yang understood that the battle that was going to follow was no longer a battle of life and death. Instead, it was a symbolic spar. Regarding this, Jia Yang didn't mind at all. After all, after the battle with Lin Ray earlier, Jia Yang really hoped to have a real spar with Lin Ray. Jia Yang. Jia Yang. Hearing Jia Yang's name, Lin Ray immediately began to search for the Divine Realm's famous persons list. The Divine Realm's famous persons list existed in both the inner and outer Divine Realms of the Divine Realm. The existence of the famous persons list was to record the heaven's favored sons and daughters of the Divine Realm. However, after searching once, regardless of whether it was the outer or inner Divine Realms of the Divine Realm, there was no existence with the name Jia Yang. At this moment, Lin Ray's heart was filled with curiosity. However, he knew that no matter how curious he was, if Jia Yang didn't say anything, it wouldn't be good for him to ask. "My name is Lin Ray. I am the former sect master of the Nine Heavens Xuanzong sect in the outer Divine Realm. Currently, I am only a loose cultivator." Lin Ray introduced himself. "Lin Ray?" Hearing this, Jia Yang's face revealed a thoughtful smile. Lin Ray's influence was completely imprinted in Jia Yang's heart at this moment. That's right." Lin Ray nodded. With a slightly embarrassed expression, he said, "Old brother Jia Yang, I'm truly sorry about earlier. It's because I, your old brother, discovered a top-quality divine crystal vein here. Originally, I was about to mine it, but I didn't expect to sense your existence. Thus, for a moment, I treated you as an enemy. I'm truly sorry." After saying that, in order to express his sincerity, Lin Ray directly took out a 9-revolution water cloud pellet from his storage ring and tossed it to Jia Yang. "This is a medicinal pellet for healing injuries that I refined myself. If you don't mind, then quickly heal your injuries. Seeing the item that Lin Rei tossed to him, Jia Yang didn't even think about it and directly caught it. His intuition told him that the person before him wasn't an evil person. Sure enough, after receiving the medicinal pellet and hearing Lin Rei's words, Jia Yang came to a realization. Then, he revealed a slight smile and said, "There, this is great." After saying that, Jia Yang didn't even think about it and directly swallowed the 9 Revolution Water Cloud pellet. The 9 Revolution Water Cloud pellet was a top-quality venerable level medicinal pellet. It was classified as a medicinal pellet for healing injuries. Refining it was a rare heavenly treasure. Lin Rei was sure that this 9 Revolution Water Cloud pellet of his would make even a Dao Fruit Sage Realm cultivator jealous. The medicinal pellet melted in his mouth. After swallowing the 9 Revolution Water Cloud pellet, Jia Yang only felt a fragrance emerge from his abdomen. Waves of gentle medicinal properties instantly spread throughout his body. As the saying goes, the fragrance lingers in the mouth and teeth, and the aftertaste is endless. Seeing the wound on his arm that was pierced by Lin Rei healing at a speed visible to the naked eye, the tension in Jia Yang's heart relaxed. At this time, Lin Rei, who had been waiting at the side, began to explore Jia Yang's 365 corners from top to bottom, from inside to outside. TSK, to be able to survive the attack of the martial god and only receive some insignificant injuries, where did this person learn his skills from? If such a person can become a disciple of my Xuanzong sect, then... Lin Rei's thoughts began to wander as he thought about it. It was a beautiful thought in his heart, but he knew that such a person would follow his own sect and master. It was impossible for him to go to another sect. However, even so, Lin Rei still didn't want to give up. After all, such a person was rare in the entire God realm. During the battle just now, Lin Rei could clearly feel the enormous power coming from Jia Yang's body. This kind of power also shocked Lin Rei. He had the body of a God realm late stage. Even if he didn't use his cultivation and only used the power of his body, he could beat a God realm early stage or middle stage cultivator half to death. But now, he only received a scratch. This caused Lin Li to have an unprecedentedly good impression and curiosity towards the power behind Jia Yang, as well as his master. He was very curious. What kind of master and power could nurture a person to such an extent? Because, to cultivate both inside and outside, it was destined to require spiritual medicine and cultivation techniques, as well as all kinds of cultivation resources. Lin Rei, who was also cultivating both inside and outside, naturally knew about it. If he didn't have the system, he wouldn't be able to enter the cultivation world and enter this world that he might not have any interaction with in his lifetime. But with the system, Lin Rei knew about the difficulties, obstacles and all kinds of obstacles in cultivating both inside and outside. Among them, the most important thing was time. And looking at Jia Yang's current age, he was at most 5,000 years old. Of course, some old fellows would use the lightning tribulation to reconstruct their body when they entered the God realm. But the person in front of him was only a great perfection God Emperor. This was also one of the reasons why Lin Rei took a fancy to him. Time passed bit by bit. The wound on Jia Yang's arm finally disappeared and he returned to normal. Come. Just now, we fought because of a misunderstanding. Now that I've experienced your anxiousness, I, your brother, am truly moved. At this moment, Lin Rei very naturally raised his seniority by a level. Using weapons might lead to the outcome just now. How about this? I'm happy that your fleshy body is strong. That's great. I, your brother, have also cultivated a body cultivation technique. Next, we'll give up on weapons and cultivation and only use our fleshy body to fight. What do you think, brother? At this moment, hearing Lin Rei's words, Jia Yang revealed a smile on his face. He then opened his mouth and agreed very straightforwardly. All right. Since that's the case, then come. It's been a long time since I met an opponent as strong as you. After saying that, he retracted his cultivation and kept his spear. A long fist that was like a fierce tiger coming down from the mountain instantly appeared on Jia Yang's body. Although Jia Yang looked small and skinny, Lin Rei, who was a bit far away, could feel the oppressive feeling that came from his valiant fleshy body. Oh. Not simple. Lin Rei was greatly shocked. Based on Jia Yang's action just now, Lin Rei was able to make an initial judgment that Jia Yang's fleshy body was at least at the middle stage of the god realm. Heh. Good. Come. Feeling such a terrifying fleshy body, Lin Rei's eyes did not have the slightest trace of fear. Instead, they revealed a trace of light and excitement. And this was exactly what he needed. Ha, bam. Lin Rei retracted his cultivation and spear. Instantly, his vigorous and powerful fleshy body was released. His left leg lightly moved backwards. Suddenly, the floor that Lin Rei's left leg touched exploded. Like a spider web, with Lin Rei's left leg as the center, it spread out in all directions. Lin Rei's action caused Jia Yang, who was confronting him, to feel a bit more dignified in his heart. Although he had felt Lin Rei's fleshy body before, with this step, he was a bit panicked. However, the panic only lasted for a moment. Then, it disappeared and was replaced by endless battle intent. Bam! Bam! At this moment, Lin Rei and Jia Yang moved at the same time. The two of them were like human-shaped demonic beasts. Without any cultivation, they rushed towards each other. Both of them raised their fists and blasted towards each other with the power of thunder. Their speed was so fast that it was like a fleeting moment. Bam! In just a breath's time, the two of their fists collided with each other with terrifying power. Boom! Suddenly, a terrifying shockwave spread out in all directions with the two of them as the center point. At this moment, the mountain peak that the two of them were standing on instantly cracked and exploded under the impact of their attacks. Heh, not bad. I didn't expect your fleshy body to be so strong. Lin Rei collided with Jia Yang. The two of them looked at each other. Looking at Jia Yang, Lin Rei's eyes were filled with admiration. At this moment, he was even more certain that if he couldn't take such a busy person for his own use, then it would be a waste. There was a good saying. If you miss this village, there won't be another shop. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't want to give up. He wanted to fight for it. Although he knew that he might break his head and bleed, even so, Lin Rei still didn't turn back. You're not bad yourself. To be able to meet such an opponent, what more could I ask for? Jia Yang replied with a smile. After saying that, the two of them instantly separated. Soon after, their fleshy bodies collided again. The speed of the two of them wasn't inferior to when they used their full strength. Bam! 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 In the blink of an eye, the speed of the two of them colliding became faster and faster. In the end, the two of them completely disappeared from the entire mountain peak. Other than the mountain peak being continuously destroyed by the two of them, there was no other evidence to prove their existence. The two of them didn't use any fighting techniques, nor did they use any cultivation. At this moment, the two of them were using their fleshy bodies to fight each other. If the big shots of the divine realm were to find out about this kind of battle, they would probably be so shocked that their jaws would be dislocated. After all, this kind of battle between fleshy bodies was rarely seen in millions of years. Not for any other reason but because there were too few people who cultivated their fleshy bodies. Because in the hearts of the people, the fleshy body was useless. As long as they cultivated spiritual energy and increased their cultivation, it would be enough. In reality, the people were wrong. The fleshy body was the foundation of a person. Even if it was a god, the human body was extremely wonderful and profound. It was like a bottomless pit that was always waiting for you to explore it. Rumble. Rumble. At this moment, Xia Feng and the others who were mining within the mountain peak felt the mountain peak shaking endlessly. Immediately, their faces were filled with helplessness. Sigh. What are they doing? Making such a big commotion. Could it be that they don't know that we're still below? Could it be that they want to bury us alive? Xie Feng said speechlessly. TSK. Just what kind of opponent did they meet for the young master to fight to such an extent? It would seem that the opponent this time is a bit difficult to deal with. At this moment, Chu Xi, who was in the opposite direction from Xie Feng, heard the rumbling sounds coming from above the mountain peak as well as the shaking of the mountain peak. Chu Xi exclaimed in surprise in her heart. Chapter 762. On the other side, the Pai Xiu felt the mountain shaking as well as the rumbling sounds coming from the mountain. It snorted disdainfully and said, "You two bastards. Why don't you let me quickly finish mining these divine crystals? Really?" As it spoke, it grumbled and rolled its eyes at the mountain in the sky. Then, it continued to work hard on its life of being absent. At that instant, the Pai Xiu felt very comfortable. After all, these divine crystals could allow it to recover its cultivation and even increase its cultivation. At that moment, it especially hoped that the divine crystals here would be inexhaustible. However, it could only daydream. As the saying goes, imagination is beautiful but reality is very cruel. At that moment, Lin Rei and Jia Yang were punching each other in the sky. They were completely unaware of the thoughts of the people who were mining. "Come on, let me see how strong your physical strength is." At that instant, as he watched Jia Yang fight with him for such a long time, a trace of exhaustion appeared on his face. Then, he wanted to end the battle quickly. Because, at that moment, he discovered that his physical strength was slowly depleting. If this continued, he was afraid that, after saying that, Lin Rei immediately increased his physical strength from 10% to 10% complete. At that instant, Lin Rei no longer concealed anything. He couldn't afford to waste his physical strength. Not only was his physical strength depleting, more importantly, just earlier, the system suddenly sent a message to him saying that the ancient corpse trove was about to open. It wanted him to quickly end the matter here and head towards the ancient corpse trove. Regarding that, the matter of the ancient corpse trove was far more important than sparring with Jia Yang. After all, that place was related to his life. He didn't want others to run ahead of him. Even more so, he didn't want to delay his life and end it here. He didn't allow it and he couldn't allow it to happen. So, at that instant, Lin Rei pushed his physical body to the limits. His skin trembled, his muscles trembled, his organs circulated, his bones hardened, his meridians tough. At that instant, Lin Rei pushed his physical body to the limits without holding anything back. Hiss. A breath of cold air came from Jia Yang's mouth. His face and heart were filled with shock. Just a moment ago, he was originally able to fight to a standstill. However, in the next moment, Jia Yang discovered that his bombardment was slowly being suppressed. Not long after, he was intimidated by the terrifying waves of qi emitted from Lin Rei's body. As someone who also cultivated the physical body, he could already feel the source of the airwave. It was none other than the churning of the qi and blood in his body. Looking at Lin Rei, Jia Yang's gaze was strange. It was as if he was looking at a human-shaped giant beast. At this moment, Jia Yang sighed in his heart. He knew that he had already lost. At the instant he sensed that frightening aura, Jia Yang knew that he was inferior to Lin Rei. Pung! A muffled groan could be heard as the two continued fighting. Lin Rei's fleshy body became stronger and stronger. In the end, under Jia Yang's carelessness, a fist the size of a sandbag directly smashed against Jia Yang's chest. This fist carried all the strength of Lin Rei's fleshy body. If it was any other late-stage god emperor, they would most likely be in grave danger if they didn't use their protective god energy, body armor, and defensive arrays. However, Jia Yang, who similarly had a powerful fleshy body, even though his fleshy body realm wasn't as high as Lin Rei's, his defense was extremely strong. Under Lin Rei's heavy fist, even though his injuries weren't light and there were traces of blood at the corner of his mouth, he was much better off compared to other cultivators. Phew. After being knocked flying back 100 meters, Jia Yang let out a long breath. Enduring the pain in his chest, he wiped away the blood at the corner of his mouth, and then looked at Linley with a look of admiration. He said, "Old bro Linley, I really didn't want to split. Your physical body has already reached such a powerful level. I imagine you should be at the late stage of the deity level, right?" Hearing Jia Yang's question, Lin Rei's eyes flashed with light. He then nodded with a smile and agreed, "That's right. Old brother's fleshy body realm has already reached the late stage deity realm. However, if I want to improve further, it would be extremely difficult. I believe you should have experienced this before." As he spoke, a bitter smile appeared on Linley's face as he pointed at Jia Yang. Sigh. Jia Yang sighed and said helplessly, "That's right. My fleshy body has been at the mid-stage deity realm for more than 2,000 years. Every time I want to break through, I would be restrained by a layer of indescribable power. In the end, I couldn't break through even if I wanted to. In these 2,000 years, Master found a lot of heavenly treasures for me. Among them, there was no lack of training in the ninth heaven divine thunder, training in the depths of an everlasting volcano, and being pressured by the gravity of the seawater. He even personally found a late-stage deity realm array master for me and asked him to stop a gravity array for me. However, after all these, I still couldn't break through to the late-stage deity realm. My heart is dead." As he spoke, Jia Yang, who was originally filled with helplessness and unwillingness, suddenly had his eyes brighten. Immediately after, his gaze fell upon Linley. Immediately after, his eyes brightened and he began to ask Linley about the method of breaking through. "Old brother Lin Rei, since you've broken through to the late-stage deity realm, can you tell me what happened when you broke through?" This. Hearing Jia Yang's question, Lin Rei's expression changed. He recalled the time when he was bombarded by lightning in the lightning region. Suddenly, Lin Rei couldn't help but tremble. That feeling was something that Lin Rei would never forget for the rest of his life. Of course, that was only during the early stages. Lin Rei still felt heart-wrenching pain. Later on, the lightning in the lightning region didn't have any effect on him. However, at that time, he seemed to have reached the late-stage deity realm. Is it inconvenient? Seeing Lin Rei standing there in a daze and not making any sound, Jia Yang thought that Lin Rei wouldn't say anything. After all, the cultivation method was very private and he had only met Lin Rei for a short period of time. How could he say such a profound question? Lin Rei, who woke up from his memories, saw the disappointment and helplessness on Jia Yang's face. Then, he smiled and said, "You're thinking too much. It's just a cultivation method. There's nothing that can't be said." Is that true? At this moment, Jia Yang, who had already given up all hope, revealed a smile after hearing those words. It's true." Jia Yang nodded and replied. Then, he told Jia Yang about the item he used to break through. "Back then, I was in the 5th layer of the lightning region of the Death Valley. I endured 100 years of lightning tribulation and my body broke through to the late-stage deity realm. Lightning tribulation, 100 years. Upon hearing Linley's method of breaking through, Jia Yang was instantly shocked. He had endured the pain of the thunder tribulation before. Back then, it was so painful that he wanted to die. Moreover, he had only endured it for a few days, and those few days had been intermittent. Now that he heard that Lin Rei endured 100 years of lightning tribulation to break through to the late-stage deity realm, he couldn't help but admire Lin Rei even more. It was hard for him to imagine what kind of perseverance one must have to endure 100 years of lightning tribulation to break through to the late-stage deity realm. If he was in Lin Rei's shoes and had to endure 100 years of lightning tribulation to break through to the late-stage deity realm, he probably wouldn't be able to endure it. After all, lightning tribulation was a supreme existence. It was the nemesis of all evil. After enduring 100 years, that person would probably be crippled. That's right. Lin Ray nodded and said, however, that might not be the case. Being unable to break through might not be a problem with treasures, but a problem with cultivation technique. With regards to Jia Yang, after having interacted with him just now, Linley could sense that Jia Yang already had a very doting master. A master like this would definitely do everything in his power to find treasures for Jia Yang. However, Jia Yang hadn't broken through to the late-stage deity realm in 2,000 years with the help of treasures. This made Lin Ray wonder if it was a problem with Jia Yang's cultivation technique. After all, if a person's cultivation technique was lacking, then no matter how much he tempered his body, it would be useless. Cultivation technique? Hearing Lin Ray's words, Jia Yang pondered. Thinking about it carefully, everything that happened in the past might really be a problem with his cultivation technique. After all, he had eaten so many treasures, there was no reason why he couldn't break through. Either Jia Yang's physique could do it, or it was a problem with his cultivation technique. Seeing Jia Yang frowning in contemplation, Lin Ray's curiosity surged and he said, if you don't mind and believe in me, take out your cultivation technique and let me have a look. I'll see if your cultivation technique is as I think and if there's a problem with it. Oh. Hearing Lin Ray's request, Jia Yang hesitated for a moment. It wasn't that he didn't want to and it wasn't that he didn't trust Lin Ray. After the battle just now, he had already acknowledged Lin Ray. The reason why he hesitated was because his master once said that unless he agreed, he couldn't pass his cultivation technique to a third person. Now, hearing Lin Ray say that he wanted to see his cultivation technique, Jia Yang suddenly thought of his master's words and hesitated. All right. After all, cultivation techniques are the foundation of a sect. It's normal that you don't take it out. Seeing Jia Yang's hesitation, Lin Ray nodded and didn't think much about it. After all, he had already thought of this result, so he wasn't too disappointed at the moment. No. Hearing Lin Ray's words, Jia Yang's expression changed and he quickly shook his head to explain. It's not like that. It's my master. When he gave me the cultivation technique, he told me that I can't show it to a third person, so I don't dare to disobey my master. Please forgive me. Lin Ray, speechless. However, it wasn't surprising. After that, Lin Ray didn't say anything. After all, he wasn't the one who couldn't break through. At this moment, Lin Ray gave up on arguing with him. Then, he came to the crack, ignored Jia Yang who was standing in the air, and jumped into the crack. Huff. Huff, his body sank and he ran all the way. There was no obstruction at all. However, the distance ahead was huge. Therefore, Lin Ray sank for almost a minute before he safely landed. Bang! There was a loud sound. Because he didn't use his cultivation, the moment Lin Ray's feet touched the ground, the stone under his feet broke apart inch by inch. His feet sank into the stone until they reached his knees before he stopped. With Linley at the center, all of the rocks around him had been blasted apart. In an area of 10 meters, a large crater had appeared. At this moment, Xia Feng, who was working hard to mine, heard a strange sound behind her. She immediately turned her head to look. However, because she was already underground, she couldn't see anything other than the stone. At the same time, Chu Xi and the others who were mining in 3 different directions were also like Xia Feng. However, in the end, they were also like Xia Feng. They couldn't see anything and ended up with nothing. At this moment, Lin Ray didn't look for anyone. Instead, he looked at a place where no one had dug before. He saw red stones that were shining brightly. One by one, they were embedded in the mountain. Sensing the unstoppable divine crystal's energy, Lin Ray sighed in his heart. What a waste. Devouring heavenly art, devour. As the saying goes, wasting is shameful. Lin Ray just happened to not like being a shameful person. Therefore, in an instant, more than 10 vortexes of spiritual energy appeared. In the end, they began to devour the divine crystal's spiritual energy in the air. Hiss. With just a casual breath, Linley could clearly sense that his own power was growing at a snail's pace. It was slowly but surely increasing. As the saying goes, even an ant's leg is meat. Lin Ray understood the principle of many little things making a mickle. Soon after, as he devoured the spiritual energy in the air, Lin Ray began his great life of absenteeism. On the outside, after the battle with Lin Ray ended, Jia Yang, who was in his hands, didn't leave after Lin Ray left. Instead, he came to the mountain peak and found a flat rock to sit down on. He closed his eyes and began to cultivate. As for his previous injuries, because Lin Ray's 9 revolving water cloud pellet was still in his body, after he was injured earlier, the remaining medicinal properties of the 9 revolving water cloud pellet were completely released and began to heal Jia Yang's physical body. Jia Yang didn't have any intention of leaving. His intuition told him that if he followed Lin Ray, he might be able to solve the problem of his physical body being unable to make a breakthrough. Just like this, Lin Ray and the others were busy underground. As for Jia Yang, he was also leisurely cultivating on the mountain peak. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed. In these 2 months, Lin Ray practically didn't have any cultivation. In order to be able to quickly settle the matters here, he had to work hard. He was risking his life to mine the ore. Under everyone's painstaking efforts, finally, after 2 months, the last piece of divine crystal was dug out by Lin Ray. Looking at the divine crystal in his hand, Lin Ray's heart was filled with excitement and joy. At the same time, the instant Lin Ray dug out the last piece of divine crystal, the dozen or so spiritual energy whirlpools floating around Lin Ray completely dissipated. At this moment, because of the divine crystal, it was originally very bright. But now, the instant the last piece of divine crystal was dug out by Lin Ray, it completely dimmed. The spiritual energy that was floating in the air in the entire ore vein was completely devoured by Lin Ray's devouring heaven chant. It's finally over. Lin Ray said with a happy smile as he wiped his sweat. Yeah, it's finally over. The ancient corpse trove will open in 1 day. Suddenly, the system spoke. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.